In Jiangnan City, the June heat hung thick and stifling, turning the whole place into a giant steaming cage. Lin Zian, bare-chested, sat inside his cramped rental room in the urban village, barely 30 square meters in size. A mechanical fan whirred away, blowing nothing but sweltering hot air. He was a laid-off designer, one of those unlucky wage slaves. All he owned now was 2,000 yuan left in his bank card and half a carton of braised beef instant noodles. Slurp. He had just lifted a chopstickful of noodles to his mouth when a loud crash echoed from the bedroom. Lin Zian's hand jolted, dropping the noodles back into the broth and splattering globs of spicy red oil everywhere. He snatched a utility knife off the table, lightened his footsteps, and crept toward the bedroom. Security in this shabby complex was abysmal. Could a thief have broken in? The bedroom door stood ajar. Lin Zian drew a deep breath, shoved it open hard, and shouted sharply, "Who's there?" But the sight before him froze him on the spot, the utility knife nearly slipping from his grasp. A teenage girl, no older than 18 or 19, clad in tattered ancient robes, sat crumpled on the floor before his wardrobe. Her garments were faded beyond recognition, covered in rough, patched-up holes. Dry mud stains and dark rust-colored blood smears streaked the hem of her skirt. Her small face was caked with dust, her messy hair loosely pinned up with a wooden hairpin. Even in such a wretched state, her fair, delicate features still shone through, especially her large, clear eyes, wide with fright like a startled fawn. Her hands clutched an antique jade pendant so tight her knuckles whitened. Damn it. Do Hanfu cosplayers really break into strangers' homes these days just for immersive role play? Lin Zian swallowed hard. At the sound of his voice, the girl shuddered all over and jerked her head up. Husband? Her lips trembled as she breathed out the faint, yet deeply affectionate address. Huh. Lin Zian was dumbfounded, slowly lowering the knife in his hand. Miss, you've got the wrong person. I've never even held a girl's hand, let alone have a wife. Miss, you've got the wrong person. I've never even held a girl's hand, let alone have a wife. The girl paid no heed to his explanation at all. She struggled to push herself off the ground, but her body was far too weak. Her legs buckled, and she lurched forward headlong. Lin Zian instinctively stepped forward and caught her firmly in his arms. She was so light. The girl in his embrace weighed barely anything, as if a single gust of wind could sweep her away. Through her thin, ragged clothes, he could feel the sharp curve of her spine beneath his palms. Husband, it really is you, am I not dreaming? The girl clung desperately to the hem of Lin Zian's shirt, buried her face against his chest, and burst into bitter sobs. They dragged you away on our wedding night. The villagers all said you died fighting on the northern border, but Manor refused to believe it. I just knew you were still alive. Lin Zian was utterly flustered by this sudden embrace and tearful confession. He stared down at the girl gasping for breath in his arms, countless thoughts racing through his mind. This couldn't be an act. Could it be time travel? An avid web novel reader, Lin Zian adapted to wild concepts easily. His gaze drifted to the jade pendant crushed in her grasp. Hey, don't cry first. Your name's Manor. He softened his tone as much as he could. Tell me how you ended up here. Zhao Manor lifted her tear-streaked face, speaking between hiccuping sobs. A 3-year drought has parched our land, and the imperial court piled on crippling new taxes. There's no way to survive in the village anymore. My second and third younger sisters haven't eaten in 3 days. Even the tree barks all gnawed away. I had no other choice. I took this jade pendant left to me by my late mother-in-law and headed to the town pawnshop, hoping to trade it for a handful of brown rice to keep my sisters from starving. I'd barely pushed open the pawnshop door when a burst of white light blinded me. Next thing I knew, I tumbled here and saw you, husband. Mid-sentence, Zhao Manor's stomach let out a loud, rumbling growl. Her face flushed scarlet in an instant. She clapped a hand over her belly, too ashamed to meet his eyes. Her face flushed scarlet in an instant. She clapped a hand over her belly, too ashamed to meet his eyes. Forgive me, husband. I'm such a useless burden. A sharp twinge of pity stabbed Lin Zian's heart. What unspeakable suffering. What's more bizarre, all 3 sisters had supposedly married that ill-fated man, torn from his bride on their wedding night to serve as forced conscript, leaving her alone to fend for 2 younger sisters amid a catastrophic famine. Even tree bark was out of reach. Quit calling me husband. My name's Lin Zian, though it seems I look identical to your spouse. Lin Zian sighed and guided her to sit on the worn sofa in the living room. Stay here a minute. I'll get you something to eat. Food. Zhao Manor's eyes lit up instantly, only to dim again. She grabbed tightly onto his sleeve. Husband, have you suffered terribly out here too? I'm not hungry. I can hold on. Hold on my foot. You're practically starving unconscious. Lin Zian pressed her firmly onto the sofa without argument and turned toward the dining table. Lin Zian pressed her firmly onto the sofa without argument and turned toward the dining table. The bowl of braised beef instant noodles still steamed, thick with artificial seasoning fumes. Lin Zian had originally planned to scramble an egg fried rice in the kitchen, but glancing back to see Zhao Manor swallowing repeatedly as she stared at the noodles, he knew she couldn't wait that long. Eat this to fill your stomach first. He set the bowl down before her and handed over a pair of chopsticks. Zhao Manor stared blankly at the strangely fragrant noodles laid out before her. Long, curly noodles swam in glossy reddish broth, dotted with chunks of simulated meat and dried green vegetables floating on top. Is this celestial delicacy? Her voice shook. She had never smelled such rich, overpowering meat aroma in her life. Even a county magistrate's birthday feast in the Great Qian dynasty could never serve anything this fragrant. It's hardly celestial food, just junk food. Hurry and eat. Watch out, it's hot. Lin Zian pulled over a chair and sat across from her. Zhao Manor's hands trembled as she took the chopsticks. Starving beyond endurance, she cast aside all etiquette, lifted a mouthful of noodles, and bit down. The second the noodles touched her tongue, her eyes blew wide open. Savory. Fragrant. MMPH. Zhao Manor shoveled mouthful after mouthful while hot tears spilled unbidden down her cheeks, dripping into the broth. Hey, why are you crying again? Is it not tasty? Lin Zian jumped, alarmed. It's too delicious. Weia, I've never tasted anything this good in my whole life. She wept like a broken fountain, yet her chopsticks never paused. She devoured the entire bowl down to the last drop of soup. When she finished, she even shyly licked the oil residue off her lips. Only then did she realize how undignified she'd acted before her husband. She hastily set the bowl down and twisted the hem of her robes awkwardly. Husband, I. Lin Zian's heart softened at her flustered, pitiful look. He realized he'd unconsciously grown used to her calling him husband. He casually pulled out a tissue and held it out gently. Wipe your mouth. It's fine as long as you're full. After wiping her face, her watery eyes brimmed with panic and helplessness, and she gazed at him pleadingly. Husband, I need to get back. My sisters are waiting for me at home, starving, but I don't know how to return. Lin Zian's gaze fixed on the jade pendant, glowing brighter by the second. This supernatural artifact had carried her from another timeline to his world. Now that it was glowing and warming, it would surely send her back. Don't panic. Lin Zian wrapped his hand around her trembling small palm and soothed her softly. This pendant brought you here, and it's reacting now. It can take you back. Clutch it tight. Focus your mind on the Great Qian dynasty, and silently wish to return. Zhao Manor laced her fingers through his, gazing at him with a mix of reluctant longing and desperate hope. Her voice wavered. Husband, will you come back to Qian with me? Lin Zian stared at the outstretched hand Zhao Manor offered, unmoving. Should he go or stay? He glanced around his rental room. The fan whirred noisily. An empty instant noodle bowl sat on the table. 2,000 yuan left in his bank account. Nothing worth clinging to. Wait a second. He pulled his hand free, ducked into the kitchen, and hauled out the entire half carton of braised beef instant noodles by the stove. He patted his pockets to check. Phone, wallet, utility knife. He tucked the carton under one arm and held out his free hand to Zhao Manor. Let's go. Zhao Manor froze for a beat. Husband, you're coming with me? You said the villages run out of even tree bark. I can't leave you to go back alone. Lin Zian shrugged. Besides, I've got nothing going for me here anyway. Zhao Manor's eyes welled up instantly. Lin Zian cut her off before she could cry. Don't shed more tears. Your eyes are all swollen. Clutch the pendant tight. Think of the Great Qian dynasty, and we'll leave. Zhao Manor nodded hard, squeezed the jade pendant in one fist, and lashed her other hand firmly onto Lin Zian's fingers. The white light struck without warning. Lin Zian barely had time to squint before he felt as though he'd been ripped straight out of water. When he opened his eyes again, stretching before him was parched yellow earth. In the distance stood several bare, leafless trees, beside a row of low-thatched huts weighted down with stones on their roofs. Dry loam dust hung thick in the air. Zhao Manor huffed for breath beside him. We've arrived. Lin Zian swept his gaze across the scene. It was truly dilapidated beyond words. He followed Zhao Manor deeper into the hamlet. She quickened her pace, tugging him forward until they reached a ramshackle thatched hut and pushed open its lopsided wooden door. Second sister. Third sister. Lin Zian lingered in the doorway to glance inside. A low wooden table stood propped up by bricks under two broken legs. Straw lined the floor, and two huddled figures curled in the corner. At the sound of voices, the two figures slowly sat upright. The half-carton of instant noodles tucked under Lin Zian's arm nearly slipped to the ground. Two young women scrambled out of the straw pile, their faces smudged with grime, messy hair draped over their shoulders. Their clothes equally covered in ragged patches. Yet their faces were identical to Zhao Manor's. Same eyes, same nose, same mouth. Even the tiny mole at the corner of their lips sat in the exact spot. Lin Zian thought his eyes were playing tricks on him and stared harder. No illusion. Sister. The two spotted Zhao Manor first and stumbled unsteadily to their feet. When their eyes fell on Lin Zian, both froze rigid. The girl on the left spoke first, her voice hoarse from prolonged starvation. Sister, who is this? Husband. Zhao Manor choked up, tears streaming down her cheeks. I found her husband. The girl on the right reacted faster. She darted 2 steps forward, grabbed Zhao Manor's arms, sized her up and down, then hopped about excitedly. It really is husband. Wonderful husband's home. Lin Zian finally regained his senses and cut in. Hold on a minute. Someone explain this to me. He pointed from Zhao Manor to the other 2 girls, waving his index finger between them. How are all 3 of you identical? Why didn't you mention this earlier? Zhao Manor blinked, utterly confused. What's there to mention? Lin Zian fell silent. Fair enough, he supposed. To her, it was clearly nothing worth pointing out. The girl on the left recovered and stepped forward, bending her knees in formal ancient etiquette. Weak from hunger, she nearly lost her balance, and Lin Zian instinctively reached out to steady her. Zhao were Greet's husband. The girl on the right was far more unrestrained. She skipped past the formal bow, grabbed Lin Zian's sleeve, and leaned in to inspect him, eyes sparkling. Husband, what fabric is your robe made of? It's stiff and feels so strange to touch. Third sister. Zhao Manor frowned sharply. I only wanted to feel it a little. The girl pulled her hand back, winked at Lin Zian, and said, Char, Greet's husband too. Lin Zian lapsed into silence once more. He'd known all 3 sisters had wed the same unfortunate man, but seeing it firsthand was another matter entirely. 3 carbon copy young women standing before him, all calling him husband in unison. The shock was nothing like what he'd imagined. Lin Zian set the carton of instant noodles down on the low table and patted its side. Let's eat first. We can sort everything out afterward. This is food. Surprise laced Zhao War's voice as she peered at the box. They're noodles. I ate them at husband's place earlier. They smell amazing. I'll boil water right away. Zhao Manor rushed off to stoke the fire. Lin Zian glanced around. The kitchen was little more than a stone outdoor stove with a few smoldering sticks of firewood left inside. He knelt down, raked aside cold ash, and relit the flames. Zhao Char trotted after him, craning her neck to ask, Husband, you know how to build a fire? A little. Don't stand so close. The smoke will sting your eyes. Did you learn lots of things while you were in the northern borderlands? Quite a few. What's it like beyond the northern border? He glanced at her. She squatted beside him, her face still filthy, yet her eyes blazed with vivid curiosity, hardly like someone who'd gone 3 days without food. Extreme hunger sometimes sparked a strange burst of energy. It was human instinct. I'll tell you all about it after we eat. The water boiled, and 3 bowls of instant noodles were prepared. Zhao took her bowl, sniffed the broth gently, sipped a spoonful, then bowed her head to eat quietly, all questions forgotten. Zhao Char was far more outspoken. After her first mouthful, she let out a drawn-out cry of wonder. What kind of noodles are these? They smell incredible. Lin Zian sat on the threshold, leaning against the doorframe, watching the 3 girls huddle by the stove, absorbed in their meals without a single word between them. Outside the hut, wind rustled the bare branches of the leafless trees. The village lay eerily quiet. He stood and stepped into the courtyard, scanning the hamlet. This was not the soft hush of dusk. It was the hollow silence of abandonment. A neighbor's courtyard gate hung ajar, no sound stirring within. Broken furniture lay scattered haphazardly across the yard, as if its occupants had fled in a desperate hurry. From the house opposite, no lamplight seeped through the door crack, only cold wind. A question mark lingered in Lin Zian's mind. He stepped back inside. The 3 girls were still eating, oblivious to his distraction. After roughly the time it takes to burn 1 incense stick, all 3 bowls were emptied clean. Zhao set her bowl down first, looked up at Lin Zian, and spoke plainly. Husband, more than half the villagers have fled this hamlet. Those who remain are mostly the elderly and frail who cannot travel. If we hold out much longer, we won't survive either. Lin Zian dragged his gaze back from the window. Before Manor left for the pawnshop, the village elder came to inform us the imperial court will collect this year's grain tax. Officials will arrive next month. Zhao paused briefly. Our household has no grain reserves. Manor's jade pendant was our only hope to trade for food, but the pawnshop. I caught sight of husband the second I stepped inside the pawn shop, so I never got to exchange it. Zhao Manor picked up the thread, her tone tinged with quiet remorse. Lin Zian glanced at the half carton of instant noodles. When exactly will the tax collectors arrive? Early 7th lunar month. All right. Lin Zian stood and brushed dust off his knees. We're leaving first thing. Zhao Qiar lifted her head. Husband, you mean we'll run away? Zhao set down her bowl. Husband, where could we possibly go? Zhao Manor stood too, the joy fading from her face, replaced by heavy worry. Husband, fleeing won't solve anything. Why not? Every prefecture and county along the way requires official travel permits, which we do not possess. Zhao Manor bit her lower lip. Government patrols enforce strict checks. Anyone caught without papers is classified as a vagrant. Men are seized for military conscription, and women. She trailed off, unable to finish the sentence. Zhao filled in the rest for her. Women get sold off. Zhao Qiar shrank back, murmuring softly. Last month, old man Wang's family from our village tried to run. They were captured halfway. Wang's legs were broken on the spot, and his wife and daughter were dragged away. Lin Zian fell silent for several seconds. Travel permits, forced conscription, human trafficking. This rotten dynasty truly drove its people to the brink of death. His mind raced at top speed. But who said they had to run somewhere within the great Qin dynasty? Who said we're escaping within this realm? Lin Zian held out his palm, facing upward. Where's the jade pendant? Zhao Manor blinked, instinctively patting her chest and pulling the pendant out from her robes. Husband, do you mean? Lin Zian took the pendant and weighed it lightly in his hand. When you crossed over, you clutched it and thought of my world, and white light teleported you here. It'll work the same way to go back. Zhao stood up, staring at the jade in his grasp. Does husband mean this artifact can transport all four of us to your world? Zhao Qiar jumped to her feet excitedly. The place where sister found husband. Yes. The three sisters exchanged a glance. Zhao Manor was the first to voice her doubt, brows knit tight. But can it carry so many people at once? Lin Zian thought back. On his trip here, Zhao Manor held the pendant while he held her hand, and it worked perfectly. Theoretically, as long as they formed an unbroken physical chain, all of them should cross over together. We'll try. He pressed the pendant back into Zhao Manor's palm. You hold the jade, grab my hand with your other. Or takes my free hand, and Qiar holds War's. All four of us linked together. Focus your mind on my rental room. What if it doesn't work? Zhao asked. If it fails, we'll figure out another plan. But it's far better than waiting here to starve. Zhao nodded, asking no further questions. Zhao Qiar darted over at once and grabbed Zhao arm. Hurry, second sister. Listen to husband. Wait a moment. Lin Zian swept his eyes over the hut and lifted a tattered cloth sack from the corner. Gather anything valuable we can carry. Zhao Manor shook her head. There's nothing left besides this jade pendant. Lin Zian glanced at the carton of instant noodles. He'd bring it with them. They'd rely on it once they returned. Very well. Let's depart. The four lined up in a chain. Zhao Manor's left fist squeezed the jade pendant tight, her right hand clasping Lin Zian's left. Lin Zian's right hand was held by Zhao War, whose other hand latched onto Zhao Qiar. Close your eyes and picture my rental room. Lin Zian nodded at Zhao Manor. Zhao Manor drew a deep breath and shut her eyes. Several seconds passed, and nothing happened. Lin Zian was about to suggest rearranging their hold when a sudden burning heat seeped into his palm. Blinding white light erupted. This burst was far more intense than the last. Lin Zian's head hummed sharply, and the rough, dry earth beneath his feet shifted into smooth ceramic tile. The steady whir of a fan filled his ears. He opened his eyes. A 30-square-meter rental room, the same shabby old place as always. The empty instant noodle bowl from last night still sat unwashed on the table, and the electric fan whirred away nonstop. It worked. Eek! Zhao Qiar let out a shrill scream. What even is this place? Why are the walls so blindingly white? She let go of Zhao Huatra's hand and darted around the room like a sparrow freed from its cage, touching and poking every surface she could reach. Her fingers brushed the light switch. A sharp click, and the room plunged into darkness. She yelped and jumped backward, then quickly slapped the switch again. Click, the lights flickered back on. Click, dark. Click, bright. Quit fooling around. Zhao Manor snapped at her. Zhao Qiar ducked her neck, yet her hand still lingered on the switch. Zhao Huar stood rigidly where she was, but Lin Zian spotted her hands trembling faintly. She scanned the room, her gaze drifting from the ceiling to the floor, sliding past the windows to the refrigerator, before finally settling on the spinning electric fan. Where does this wind come from? It's called an electric fan. It runs on electricity, Lin Zian explained casually. Works the same way as a watermill, just powered by something different. Zhao Huar stared at the fan for several seconds, then gave a small nod and asked no further questions. Zhao Manor was the calmest of the three, as she had been here once before. She loosened her grip on the jade pendant clutched in her palm and turned to Lin Zian. Husband, we all crossed over into this world alongside you. Lin Zian watched the three young women standing dead center in the living room, like tiny wild animals lost in a city. They gawked every which way, unsure what to do with their hands or feet. Have a seat first. Lin Zian gestured toward the sofa. Zhao Manor sat down first, and the other two squeezed onto the couch beside her. The three lined up side by side on the worn sofa, backs ramrod straight, knees pressed tightly together, identical to school children sitting rigidly in class. Lin Zian dragged a chair over to sit across from them and organized his thoughts. I need to make one thing clear to you all. This world is nothing like the Great Qian dynasty, completely different. Three identical pairs of eyes fixed on him in unison. This place is called Jiangnan City. It doesn't belong to the Great Qian. There's no imperial court, no travel permits, and no one will seize you to sell you off as slaves. Zhao Qiaoer cut in immediately. Do they have noodles here? We do. As many as you could ever want. Wonderful. Zhao Manor nudged her elbow into her sister's side. Third sister, do not interrupt. Lin Zian carried on. But this place has its own rules. First off, if you step outside dressed like this, everyone will stare. You'll need new clothes. Second, the people here speak and live far differently from your homeland. For now, you must follow my orders and never wander off alone. Zhao Huar nodded gently. We will obey whatever you say, husband. There's one more thing. Lin Zian paused. Here, a man may only take one wife. Silence fell over the small room. Zhao Qiaoer blinked in confusion. Then, what will happen to the three of us? Zhao Manor's cheeks flushed bright red. She bowed her head, twisting the hem of her tattered robe between her fingers. Zhao Huar remained composed. Does this mean the three of us cannot share one husband in this land? It is illegal. Lin Zian scratched the bridge of his nose. But we don't need to worry about that right now. When we go out, you'll say you're my cousins. Inside this apartment, you may address me as you please. Cousins. Zhao Qiaoer tilted her head in confusion. Relatives. The kind of family that can live together without strangers gossiping. Oh, Zhao Qiaoer nodded, then shot her hand up like a student raising their hand in class. Husband, I'm hungry. Lin Zian muttered under his breath. They say growing boys eat their families out of house and home. I suppose young girls are no different. He stood and walked to the kitchen, yanking open the refrigerator door. Inside sat 4 eggs, half a cucumber, a jar of chili sauce, and leftover rice from the previous day. He stared at his pitiful stock of ingredients and sighed helplessly. Fine, I'll feed them for now. He pulled everything out and set about cooking egg fried rice. Zhao Qiaoer suddenly shrieked and leapt off the sofa, her finger trembling as she pointed at the television screen. There's a person inside that box. That woman is talking. Zhao Huar stepped in front of her at once, shielding Zhao Manor behind her back. She fixed a hard stare on the weather reporter broadcasting on screen, silent, yet her hand silently closed around a chopstick resting on the table. Lin Zian poked his head out from the kitchen, watched the scene unfold, and quietly stirred the fried rice in the pan. That's not a real person. It's a machine called a television. But how could a human fit inside such a small box? Zhao Qiaoer's eyes widened to saucers. No one's trapped inside. It's just an image, like. Lin Zian trailed off, unable to think of a suitable comparison. Never mind, I'll explain it later. That woman cannot step out of the screen. Sit back down. Zhao Huar watched the screen for 2 more seconds, set the chopstick back on the table, and edged back onto the sofa, still glancing sideways at the television out of the corner of her eye. Zhao Manor had been here once before. She tugged Zhao Hua's sleeve. Second sister, husband says it poses no danger. Understood, Zhao Hua murmured. The egg fried rice was nearly finished cooking. As Lin Zian stirred the pan, his mind raced. The jade pendant could teleport people back and forth without issue. All 4 of them could travel between worlds together. Items could be transported too. Hadn't he brought half a case of instant noodles back to the Great Qian? A 3-year severe drought plagued the Great Qian. The imperial court raised taxes relentlessly. Villagers had eaten every scrap of tree bark they could find, and most hamlets stood half abandoned. Grain meant survival, and salt and iron were even more precious than food. Lin Zian scooped the fried rice into bowls, carried them out to the table, and beckoned the 3 women over. He leaned against the back of a chair and asked casually, In your Great Qian, how much does a caddy of salt cost? The question caught them off guard. Zhao Huar lifted her head, her chopsticks pausing midair. 30 copper coins per caddy for coarse salt. Common folk can't afford refined salt, and it's nearly impossible to find a vendor selling it anyway. What about iron? How much for a kitchen cleaver? Forging a simple firewood chopper costs no less than 2 taels of silver, Zhao Hua riposted. And blacksmiths often refuse to take such orders. Wars rage everywhere now. The imperial court seizes all iron to forge weapons, leaving barely any for ordinary civilians. Lin Zian glanced at the stainless steel kitchen knife he'd bought from the supermarket, sitting on the kitchen counter. 13 yuan and 90 fun. Husband, why do you ask these things? Zhao Manor set down her chopsticks. Just curious. Keep eating. Zhao Manor shot him a quick glance before ducking her head to shovel more rice into her mouth. Zhao Qiaoer paid no attention to their conversation, twisting grains of rice and egg around her bowl with her chopsticks, absorbed in some trivial observation only she understood. Zhao Huaer said nothing, yet her gaze lingered on Lin Zian's face for several heartbeats before drifting away. Lin Zian returned to the kitchen and opened a cabinet. Inside sat an unopened bag of iodized refined salt, bought from the supermarket for 2 yuan and 80 fun per caddy. He pulled the salt bag out, flipped it over to read the label, then set it back. 280 yuan. If I bring this to the Great Qian, even selling it at half the price of coarse salt would net at least 15 copper coins per caddy. A whole bag would be worth. He pushed the profitable thought aside to focus on their immediate needs. Finished eating, he stepped back into the living room. All 3 bowls were scraped clean, and Zhao Qiaoer was scraping the very bottom of hers with a spoon. I'm full, Zhao Manor answered quickly, elbowing her younger sister hard. Zhao Qiaoer mumbled, I'm not. There are more instant noodles in the cabinet. I'll boil you a bowl later. Go take a shower first. Lin Zian led the 3 women to the bathroom door, pushed it open, and pointed at the shower head. Water flows out from here. Turn this knob left for hot water, right for cold. Adjust it yourself. Don't twist it all the way left, or it'll scald you. He demonstrated, and the shower spurted water with a rush. Zhao Qiaoer lurched backward, nearly stepping on Zhao Hua's toes. Does water flow straight out of the wall? Pipes run water into the room, similar to digging a well, except we don't need to dig one. Zhao Manor had already slipped her hand under the stream of water. She flinched at the heat, twisted the knob slightly right, tested it again, and nodded. It works fine. With the eldest sister taking charge, Zhao Huaer asked no more questions, and Zhao Qiaoer quieted down, though she still craned her neck to peer into the bathroom repeatedly. Lin Zian handed her one of his old cotton t-shirts. Put this on to wear while you bathe. Zhao Qiaoer took the shirt, kneading and rubbing the soft fabric between her fingers. This cloth is so smooth and strange feeling. Lin Zian dug 2 more t-shirts out of the wardrobe, one gray, one white, adding them to the black one Zhao Qiaoer held, 1 shirt for each woman. The 3 of you can wash together. There's enough hot water. He handed the stack of shirts to Zhao Manor, then pulled an unused towel off the rack. Dry yourselves off with this after bathing. Don't pull clothes straight over wet skin, or you'll catch a chill. Zhao Manor accepted the towel, her face flushing faintly. Husband, all 3 of us bathing together? It'll have to do. You've grown up side by side since childhood. I'm sure you won't mind. Zhao Qiaoer had already grabbed Zhao Hua's wrist and dragged her toward the shower. Hurry, hurry, second sister. Show me how to twist that water knob. Zhao Hua stumbled from the tug, glanced back at Lin Zian, parted her lips as if to speak, but said nothing and followed her sister inside. The bathroom door slammed shut. The rush of running water echoed out, followed by Zhao Qiaoer's panicked cry. It's boiling hot. Twist it right, twist it right. Then Zhao Manor's voice cut through the noise. Third sister, stop fidgeting. Let go. I'll adjust it. Lin Zian shook his head and returned to sit on the living room sofa. He pulled out his phone to check his bank balance. 1,932 yuan. For mouths to feed. Rent was due at the end of the month, 1,200 yuan. Utilities would run roughly 200. Feeding 4 people would cost a bare minimum of 50 yuan a day, 1,500 a month. That didn't even include money for new clothes and daily necessities for the 3 women. This little cash wouldn't last half a month. Lin Zian turned his gaze to the half case of braised beef instant noodles sitting on the kitchen counter. Brought to the Great Qian, these noodles would be considered divine delicacies, coveted not only by wealthy county merchants, but even ordinary landowners. Zhao Manor had cried the first time she tasted them, saying she'd never eaten anything so delicious in her entire life. Each bucket of instant noodles only cost 4 yuan and 50 fun. If a single bucket sold for 1 tael of silver back in the Great Qian, and silver traded for over 20 yuan per gram today, how many grams made up a tael? Lost in his calculations, he heard the bathroom door swing open. The 3 women filed out one after another. Lin Zian looked up. The oversized T-shirts hung off their frames like loose dresses, the hems barely covering the midpoint of their thighs. Fresh out of the shower, their damp hair draped over their shoulders, all grime washed away to reveal unervingly pale, fair skin beneath. They'd been beautiful even caked in dirt, but now, cleaned up, Lin Zian's eyes drifted downward involuntarily. Slender, long, pale legs. Stunning legs. 3 identical pairs of pale, luminous legs peeked out below the T-shirt hems. "Husband, we've finished bathing." Zhao Manor's voice came from behind him, tinged with embarrassment. "Good, as long as you're clean." He refused to turn around. "Husband, why won't you look at us?" Zhao Qiaoer edged closer, tilting her head. "Do we look ugly in these shirts?" "You look lovely," Lin Zian blurted out, then corrected himself awkwardly. "Just dry your hair first, so you don't fall ill." Zhao Manor nodded and pulled her 2 younger sisters over to dry their hair. Zhao Qiaoer's obsession with instant noodles far exceeded Lin Zian's expectations. Less than 5 minutes after the 3 women settled back on the sofa post-shower, Zhao Qiaoer sidled up to him again. "Husband, do we have any more of those noodles?" Zhao Manor swatted her arm lightly. "You just finished a full meal." But the rice wasn't nearly as filling as the noodles. Zhao Qiaoer shrank her shoulders and whispered, "There's still space left in my stomach." Lin Zian stood from the table and rummaged in the kitchen. Several buckets from the half case were already gone. Only 7 remained. He grabbed 1 braised beef flavor bucket, poured in hot water, and covered it to steep. Zhao Qiaoer crept over and leaned against the kitchen doorframe, craning her head inside. "How long do we wait?" 3 minutes. "How do I know when 3 minutes pass?" Lin Zian pointed at the wall clock. Zhao Qiaoer stared at the round clock face for 5 full seconds, then obediently retreated to squat beside the sofa, her eyes fixed unblinkingly on the ticking second hand. Zhao Huar murmured softly, "You don't need to count every second. I just want to know how long 3 minutes really is." Lin Zian carried the fully steeped noodles out, tore open the seasoning packets, mixed them in, and set the bowl down in front of Zhao Qiaoer. She lifted the bowl to her face and breathed in the rich aroma, her eyes crinkling into bright crescent moons. She polished off the entire bowl in record time. Even after drinking every drop of broth, she clung to the empty bowl until Zhao Manor pried it roughly from her grasp. Lin Zian sat in his chair and glanced over the remaining instant noodles, his mind churning through business plans. This small stock would only last 3 or 4 days. It was too late to go shopping today. He'd stock up tomorrow. He turned to Zhao Manor. "Tomorrow, you'll come out shopping with me. The other 2 stay home." Zhao Manor nodded without asking questions. Zhao Qiaoer immediately lifted her head. "Why can't I tag along? If you step outside, disaster will follow." Zhao Qiaoer drooped. "Husband, that's hurtful." Lin Zian ignored her complaint and stood, glancing around the tiny living room. The apartment was minuscule, a sofa, a small coffee table, 1 single armchair, and a single bed in the bedroom. "The 3 of you sleep on the bed. I'll take the sofa." He jerked his chin toward the bedroom door. Zhao Manor frowned at once. "Husband, that's out of the question. The bed's far too narrow for 4 people. No more arguing, go rest." Zhao Huar tugged Zhao Manor's sleeve and whispered, "Eldest sister, listen to husband." Before Zhao Manor could protest further, Zhao Qiaoer grabbed her hand and dragged her into the bedroom, glancing back over her shoulder as she ran. "Husband, this bed's so soft, way better than straw mats." The bedroom door clicked shut, and silence filled the apartment. Lin Zian dug an old blanket out of the cabinet, spread it over the sofa, and lay back. The fan whirled toward him, casting a pleasant cool breeze. Staring up at the ceiling, his mind raced nonstop. All the different flavors. Braised beef would need heavy stockpiling. Sour pickled mustard green, mushroom chicken. Buckets were easier to transport and looked more appealing when traded in the Great Qian. He rolled onto his side, shoving the profitable trading ideas aside, and closed his eyes to sleep. The next morning, Lin Zian woke far earlier than the 3 sisters. He brushed his teeth and washed his face, then headed downstairs to the breakfast stall at the complex gate. He bought a bag of fried dough sticks, 2 cups of sweet soybean milk, and 4 marinated tea eggs for good measure. When he returned to the apartment, the women were still fast asleep. He knocked on the bedroom door. "Wake up, breakfast is ready." Zhao Qiaoer's sleepy drawl drifted out. "Just a little longer, husband. No more sleeping in." 10 seconds of silence passed before rustling sounds echoed from inside. Zhao Manor had clearly dragged Zhao Qiaoer out from under the covers. The 3 women emerged with messy bedhead, crumpled T-shirts, and heavy sleep haze clinging to their faces. Spotting the bag of fried dough sticks on the table, Zhao Qiaoer's eyes lit up instantly. She stepped forward, grabbed a stick, and moved to take a bite. Wash your hands first. She froze, then obediently trotted to the bathroom. The soybean milk was sweet. Lin Zian poured 1 cup for each woman, set 2 fried dough sticks, and 1 tea egg in front of them. Zhao Qiaoer bit into the crispy dough stick and gasped out loud. It's crunchy. Zhao Manor ate steadily and quietly. Zhao Huaer peeled her tea egg, glancing sideways out the window the whole time, saying nothing. Lin Zian finished 1 fried dough stick, tossed the empty bag into the trash, and unlocked his phone. He opened the JD shopping app and typed in the search bar, instant noodles. The page loaded, dozens of tiny thumbnail images of every flavor flooding the screen. He began adding bulk cases to his cart. Braised beef, sour pickled mustard green, mushroom chicken, spicy crayfish, full cartons of bucket noodles and bagged noodles alike. Midway through adding items, Zhao Qiaoer finished her breakfast and leaned over to peer at his phone screen. She stared for a long moment before blurting out, "Husband, are those all noodles on that screen?" "They are. So many." Zhao Qiaoer's eyes widened further and further until she draped both arms over his arm and pressed her face close to the screen to count. 1, 2, 3. "Husband, you're buying so many noodles." Zhao Manor walked over and peeked at the screen, surprise flickering across her face too. Zhao Qiaoer hopped excitedly on the spot. "Are all these noodles for us? You're the best husband ever. This will feed us for ages and ages." Lin Zian lifted a finger and flicked her lightly on the forehead. Zhao Qiaoer clutched her forehead, stumbled backward, and stared at him wide-eyed. "These noodles aren't for you to eat." Zhao Qiaoer froze, dumbfounded. "Huh, I'm taking them back to the Great Qian to trade for silver." Zhao Manor and Zhao Huaer exchanged a glance, then both turned their full attention to Lin Zian. Zhao Huaer spoke first, her voice soft yet steady. "Husband, you plan to carry all these noodles back to the Great Qian to sell? In your homeland, how much silver would a bucket of these noodles fetch?" Lin Zian asked in return. Zhao Huaer fell into quiet thought for a moment. Ordinary village commoners could never afford them, she paused. But wealthy merchants and landowners in the cities would likely pay 1 tael of silver per bucket without hesitation. "Do merchant caravans from your realm ever travel to Jiangnan? Are there regular market fairs?" "There are," Zhao Huaer replied without delay. "Every 3rd and 8th day of the month, the neighboring town hosts a market. The county seat holds grand fairs at the start and end of each lunar month, drawing vendors from all over." Lin Zian lifted his phone and checked the total cost of his shopping cart. Just over 400 yuan, enough for roughly 90 buckets. If all 90 buckets sold for 1 tael each, that would be 90 taels of silver total. Silver traded at upwards of 20 yuan per gram these days, with 1 tael weighing around 37 grams. 90 taels converted back to modern currency would be. He mentally tallied the profit, a faint unreadable tug at the corner of his mouth, then tapped the button to confirm and pay for his order. Zhao Qiaoer was still clutching her forehead, gazing at him with a woebegone look. "Then, you won't let me have even 1 bucket?" "No, not even a single one. No." Zhao Qiaoer's lower lip jutted out. Zhao Manor stepped over to pull her aside, murmuring softly to soothe her. "Be good, third sister. Once we exchange these for silver, we'll buy you other treats instead." It wasn't long before the instant noodles arrived. As soon as the courier knocked, Zhao Qiaoer darted out of nowhere, yanking the door open before Lin Zian could reach it. Seeing stacks of cardboard boxes nearly as tall as a person lined up at the threshold, she whirled around and threw herself at Zhao Huaer. "Second sister, the noodles are here." Lin Zian hauled all 12 boxes inside one by one. Zhao Qiaoer circled the pile twice, then edged closer. "Husband, can't I have just 1 bucket? Not a single bucket. Please." She pouted. Lin Zian pressed the TV remote straight into her hand and led her over to the television. "This button turns it on and off. This one changes channels. Don't press anything else. Sit right here and watch it, and don't wander off anywhere." Zhao Qiaoer stared at the remote, slid her finger to the channel button, and flicked it to switch programs. Lin Zian caught her wrist. "Stay put and watch." Zhao Qiaoer shrank back, hugged the remote to her chest, and settled down obediently. Lin Zian headed to the kitchen next to demonstrate how to boil rice to Zhao Huaer, showing her exactly how much rice to measure and where to fill the water line. She listened carefully, nodding without asking extra questions. "I'll cook rice at noon. Keep an eye on her and don't let her step outside." Zhao Huaer nodded and walked him to the door. Lin Zian pulled 20 buckets out of the cardboard stacks, stuffed them into a woven sack, and slung it over his shoulder. When he turned, Zhao Manor was already waiting by the doorway, holding a thermos flask in one hand and an enamel mug in the other. He glanced down at the jade pendant hanging from his neck. "Let's go." A flash of white light swept over them, and the tiled floor beneath their feet turned to packed dirt. East Market of the county town, just past the snake hour. Lin Zian stood at the street corner and scanned the area. Grain stalls hung cloth strips marked, sales suspended. Ironmonger's shop stood half-shuttered, and only the fabric shop stayed open, its clerk dozing listlessly inside. Only a handful of shoppers wandered the market. Almost all womenfolk neatly dressed, hairpins pinned in their coiffures with maids trailing behind them, clearly wives of officials or wealthy merchants. Ordinary commoners were nowhere to be seen. Zhao Manor stepped forward 2 paces and pointed at an empty lot diagonally across from the fabric shop. Here. Fine. Lin Zian set down the sack and laid out the 20 buckets of instant noodles in a row. Bright red, green, and yellow wrappers lined the street, a garish splash of color against the uniform yellow-brown dirt road, impossible to miss. It was not long before a passerby paused. A woman wearing a pale moon-white short jacket, followed by a young maid, stepped closer to peer at the goods, then turned to her servant. "What are these things?" The maid shook her head. The woman looked up at Lin Zian. "Instant noodles," Lin Zian said, bending to pick up a braised beef bucket and flip open the lid for her to see. "Madam, look, just pour in hot water, and they'll be ready to eat in 3 minutes." As he spoke, he prepared a bucket on the spot. The aroma of the noodles was intoxicating. Even Lin Zian, a lifelong fan of instant noodles, would have stopped for a bite if he'd passed by on the street. The woman leaned in to peek inside at the crinkled white, dried noodle block and packets of dry seasoning, her face etched with doubt. Lin Zian took the thermos from Zhao Manor, poured hot water into the bucket, and pressed the lid shut. "Please wait a moment, madam." The instant the boiling water hit the seasoning, a rich braised beef scent bloomed, thick with oil and spices, drifting silently to fill the entire street. The woman in the moon-white jacket froze mid-movement. Her young maid could not resist the fragrance first, craning her neck to sniff, eyes widening in surprise. Another woman who had merely been passing slowed her steps, glancing over for a longer look. Further down the road, 2 or 3 more noble ladies with their maids halted 5 or 6 paces from the stall. Zhao Manor leaned in and whispered, "Husband, we've drawn a crowd." The 3 minutes passed, and Lin Zian lifted the lid. The woman who'd stopped last spoke first. She wore a crimson-purple jacket, a red agate inlaid bracelet circling her wrist, and stood at the edge of the group, craning her neck to watch. Her voice was steady, neither loud nor soft. "Is that beef flavor?" Lin Zian pushed the bucket forward slightly. "Would you care to try a bite, madam?" The woman in crimson-purple did not move, but her maid stepped half a pace closer, only to be shot a warning look by her chaperone, who pulled her back. The lady in moon-white reached out first. "Let me see." Lin Zian handed her a pair of chopsticks. She took them, lifted a strand of noodles, and leaned in to examine them. Thin noodles swimming in reddish-brown broth, dotted with chopped green onions and chunks of meat. The portion looked small, yet the fragrance was overwhelming. She took a mouthful, chewed twice, and fell silent for a long beat. "How can this taste so fresh?" She lifted her head straight to ask, "How much silver for 1 bucket?" Lin Zian held up a single finger. "1 tael. 1 tael." The woman twisted to her maid. "How much silver do we have with us?" 5 taels, madam." "Give me 5 buckets." Lin Zian knelt to sort out her order. 2 braised beef, 2 mushroom chicken, 1 pickled mustard greens beef, and set them beside her. Only then did the lady in crimson-purple walk over, kneel down to flip through the wrappers, and pick up the pickled mustard greens bucket, staring at the illustration on the front. "This one is pickled mustard greens with beef?" "That's right. Sour-flavored. Sour and savory. Those who prefer rich, hearty flavors go for braised beef. Those who like a tangy taste pick this one." She hefted 2 buckets in her hands, turning them over again and again. "What other flavors do you have?" Lin Zian gestured behind him at the remaining dozen neatly stacked buckets. The woman stood, walked over, and knelt to inspect each one in turn. Zhao Manor quietly let out a slow breath in relief. 2 or 3 more ladies crowded around, chattering nonstop. Some asked how to prepare the noodles, others how long they could be stored, and one lifted a bucket to the lid, inhaling deeply. The crimson-cloaked lady took 2 buckets of pickled mustard greens beef and 2 spicy crayfish, then pulled the moon-white lady aside to whisper for a long while. Together they bought 6 more buckets. 2 maids pushed through the crowd next, saying they were running errands for their mistresses, and asked for 5 buckets on the spot. Lin Zian knelt to count his stock. Only 4 buckets remained. One maid hurried back to report to her mistress, who walked over, glanced at the remaining stock, and said bluntly, "I'll take all 4." 20 taels of silver clinked into a coarse cloth sack. Zhao Manor held it with both hands, hefted its weight, and looked up at him. Husband, we've sold everything already? Her lips twitched, and she lifted the sack again to weigh it once more. It had taken less than half an hour to sell out the entire stock. Just then, the crimson-jacketed lady doubled back. Young sir, when you return next time, could you set aside 10 buckets for me first? My husband adores beef, only the braised beef flavor, reserved solely for me. The moon-white lady chimed in too. I'll take 5, half-pickled mustard greens, half chicken. I will return here in 3 days, ladies. Rest assured, I will reserve your orders ahead of time. Once the women left, Lin Zian led Zhao Manor to an empty alleyway. Close your eyes. Think of our room back home. White light billowed out, and the tiled floor returned beneath their feet. Lin Zian heard noise the moment they arrived. Sound effects from a variety show mixed with 2 loud, unrefined peals of laughter. He walked into the living room to find Zhao Huar and Zhao Qiaoer curled side by side on the sofa, eyes glued to the television. Zhao Qiaoer leaned her full weight against Zhao Huar, clutching her stomach as she laughed. Zhao Huar bore her weight, her shoulders shaking constantly, occasionally letting out giggles she tried to hold back. On screen, several contestants were completing a challenge, and one tripped and fell flat on their backs, triggering uproarious laughter from the audience. Ha ha ha, how can someone be this clumsy? I can't stop laughing. Lin Zian watched for 2 seconds, then looked away. Zhao Manor stepped in behind him, paused for a beat, then walked over and tapped Zhao Qiaoer's shoulder. What are the two of you doing? Zhao Qiaoer sat up straight, pointing at the screen. Eldest sister, there are so many people here. Second sister and I have been watching for ages and still don't understand what they're doing, but when they fall over, it's absolutely hilarious. Zhao Huar tugged at the hem of her shirt and turned to Lin Zian and Zhao Manor. Husband, did your trip go smoothly today? It went perfectly. We sold all the noodles. 20 taels. Lin Zian shook the silver sack lightly. I'm heading out again. Stay inside the house. I'll be back by noon. Husband, where are you going? Zhao Qiaoer leaned over the table, craning her neck upward to ask. To buy new clothes for all of you. Zhao Qiaoer tugged at the crumpled old t-shirt she wore. Can't I keep wearing this? It fits, but you can't keep going out in my old shirts forever. The gold and silver pawnshop was tucked down a side street off the market square. Lin Zian slid the 20 taels of silver onto the counter. The shopkeeper sorted them, weighed each piece, checked the silver purity, and exchanged them for just over 5,000 yuan. He pocketed the cash and stepped outside, pausing at the street corner. Groceries, clothes, undergarments. His footsteps stalled. Undergarments. The 3 girls had sat all night wearing nothing but his old t-shirts, with no underlayers beneath them. The tattered linen garments they'd brought over from the Great Qin dynasty were far too worn to wear anymore, a detail he had completely overlooked earlier. He turned into the nearby commercial street and pushed open the door of a women's lingerie shop. A shop assistant in her early 20s glanced over. Hello, may I help you find anything? Underwear. Certainly. What size would your girlfriend wear? I don't know. Lin Zian scratched his head. He truly had no clue. Judging only by their figures under the loose t-shirts, they were roughly pear-shaped, full-figured. The assistant smiled and held out her hands to gesture. Around this size, or? Pear-shaped, large pears. The assistant's hands froze mid-gesture. Pears. The round, big kind of pear about that size. The assistant fell silent for 2 seconds, stifling a laugh behind her hand, her shoulders trembling faintly. She turned to rummage through the racks and quickly pulled out a pink set, handing it over. This one, 75B, it's a common size. Could you grab 5 more sets in different colors, please? The assistant nearly dropped her shopping bag in shock. A dozen complicated expressions crossed her face before settling into an amused, knowing smile. She flipped through the racks while glancing back at him. You spoil your girlfriend terribly. Lin Zian opened his mouth to explain, yet realized any clarification would only make things more awkward, so he clamped his lips shut. The assistant struggled to hold back her grin through checkout, throwing him lingering glances as she handed over the bag. An unspoken, I know what this is about, and I won't ask, look that nearly made Lin Zian turn and flee. Carrying the bag out of the lingerie store, he glanced down, catching faint glimpses of the colorful packaging through the plastic. He tucked the bag under his arm, quickened his pace, and stepped into the adjacent women's clothing boutique. The shop was small, wall-to-wall summerwear hanging everywhere, dominated by shorts and short skirts. Mannequins were dressed in light, cool outfits, and a sign reading Summer Specials hung by the entrance. Hey handsome, picking out clothes for your girlfriend? A clerk in her early 20s walked over, chewing gum and holding a clothing steamer. Yeah, They're around 165 centimeters tall, 80 to 90 pounds each. The clerk sized him up. Size S, slim fit. What style does your girlfriend like? Sweet or edgy? Lin Zian thought of Zhao Manor's gentle, soft features, Zhao Qiao's bouncy, energetic demeanor, then Zhao Huater's poised, quiet form sitting on the sofa watching variety shows. One outfit for each style. The clerk's gum chewing slowed for a split second. 3 different styles. One short sleeve top with a bodycon skirt, one short sleeve top with denim shorts, one short sleeve top with a pleated skirt. The clerk nodded without further questions and turned to browse the racks. She picked a black bodycon skirt paired with a white square neck tee, denim shorts with a striped t-shirt, and a pale blue pleated skirt with a puff sleeve blouse. Lin Zian inspected the pieces, decent fabric, affordable prices, the 3 sets costing less than 700 yuan total. Want to check out shoes too? The clerk nodded toward a shoe rack in the corner. Lin Zian scanned the shelf and picked out 3 pairs of plain white canvas sneakers, size 37, simple, versatile, hard to mess up. After paying, he carried 2 huge shopping bags out to the street and paused to tally his errands. He still hadn't bought food supplies. A supermarket sat at the end of the commercial strip. He grabbed a shopping cart and headed straight for the grain and oil section. With 3 girls to feed back home, he went on a full stock-up spree. He took 2 20-jean sacks of Northeast rice, 2 5-liter bottles of Jinlongju soybean oil, then headed to the fresh produce counter to buy 3 jean of premium pork belly, a dozen tomatoes, and a whole pack of potatoes. Passing the snack aisle, he thought back to the exorbitant prices back in Great Qian, where even coarse salt was a luxury. He tossed 5 large bags of white rabbit creamy candy and several packs of fine salt into the cart. Lin Zian hauled his mountain of bags back to the rental apartment. The second he pushed open the door, cartoon music blared from the television. The 3 sisters sat lined up on the sofa, eyes glued to Tom and Jerry. Zhao Qiao rolled around laughing so hard she did not even notice Lin Zian walk in. Ahem. Lin Zian set the bags heavily down on the table. Husband. Zhao Manor was the first to snap out of it, jumping to her feet. Staring at the towering pile of bags in his hands, her eyes widened in shock. Husband, did you rob a wealthy household's granary? Rob nothing, just shopping. Lin Zian handed over the clothing bags. Leave these for now. Go to the bedroom and change into the new outfits. The 3 sisters took the bags and slipped into the bedroom. Less than 30 seconds later, Zhao Manor's flushed face peeked out through the crack in the door. Husband, these clothes are extremely strange. There's barely any fabric covering the body. And this pink one, these straps, how are we supposed to wear it? Lin Zian's face burned red. He coughed loudly through the doorframe. They're called undergarments. Just slip your arms through the straps. There's a clasp at the back to fasten. It supports a hem. You'll figure it out yourselves. Rustling fabric and muffled gasps from Zhao Qiao echoed out of the bedroom. Eldest sister, this clasp is so tight, but it really lifts everything up. It's so comfortable. Keep your voice down, third sister. Don't let husband hear you. Zhao Huater's voice carried a faint note of embarrassment too. 10 minutes later, the bedroom door opened. Lin Zian had been drinking water, and he nearly choked to death at the sight before him. Zhao Manor wore the white square neck tee and black bodycon skirt, gentle yet irresistibly alluring. Her slender waist and long, pale legs beneath the skirt utterly captivating. Zhao Huar donned the pale blue pleated skirt. Her cool, reserved aura paired with the outfit made her look like a cold, beautiful school beauty. Zhao Qiao sported the striped t-shirt and denim shorts, youthful and bright, her pale legs swinging wildly. Husband, do we look ridiculous? Zhao Manor tugged awkwardly at her skirt hem. The fabric barely covered her knees. Such revealing clothing would have been deemed scandalous enough to warrant drowning in a pig cage back in Great Qian. You don't look ridiculous at all. You look beautiful, all of you. Lin Zian forced his gaze away. All right, sit down for a minute. I'll cook dinner. Half an hour later, a steaming pot of braised pork and a plate of tomato scrambled eggs sat on the table, alongside a big pot of translucent white rice. The moment Lin Zian lifted the rice cooker lid, the pure, sweet fragrance of modern polished rice, mixed with the rich soy aroma of braised pork, flooded the 30-square-meter rental apartment. All 3 sisters swallowed hard, their eyes fixed on the food. Eat up. Lin Zian served each of them a huge bowl of rice. Zhao Qiao was the first to spear a chunk of braised pork and pop it into her mouth. The pork rind was soft and tender, the fatty meat melting on her tongue, and the lean meat soaked thick savory sauce. Sweet and salty flavors burst across her taste buds at once. Wah! Zhao Qiao burst into tears, shoveling rice into her mouth through her sobs. Eldest sister, this meat is sweet. The rice is so soft, no grit. No husks at all. It's so delicious I could cry. Zhao Manor and Zhao Hua's eyes welled up too. Back in Great Qian, even rough husked brown rice was a luxury. Snow white, polished rice like this was something they'd never even dared to dream of. Not to mention the braised pork, seasoned with plenty of fine salt and sugar, layers of flavor completely alien to people from their dynasty, a culinary revelation. Eat slowly, there's plenty more in the pot. Lin Zian watched them wolf down their food, a strange surge of pride swelling in his chest. He unwrapped a white rabbit candy and slipped it into Zhao Manor's mouth. Rich, creamy sweetness melted instantly on her tongue. Zhao Manor's eyes lit up like starlight. Husband, what is this? It's so sweet, hundreds of times sweeter than the malt candy the town's rich families serve for Lunar New Year. It's cream candy. I'll buy more if you like it. Lin Zian smiled fondly. Seeing this, Zhao Qiaoer forgot to swallow the pork in her mouth and stretched out her sticky, oil-stained hands. Husband, I want one too. Lin Zian unwrapped 2 more candies and gave one each to Zhao Qiaoer and Zhao Huar. Zhao Qiaoer bounced her pale legs happily in her chair, while Zhao Huar closed her eyes, savoring the pure sweetness blooming across her tongue, a faint blush dusting her cool cheeks. Back in Great Qian, even coarse salt carried a bitter aftertaste. Such unadulterated sweetness tasted like divine medicine. Once you're full, clear the bowls away, then come watch television. Don't run off anywhere, Lin Zian instructed. He walked out to the balcony and lit a cigarette. Lin Zian exhaled a cloud of cigarette smoke as he watched 3 stunning young women in modern summer outfits crowd curiously around the sink, trying to figure out how to wash dishes. His mind raced a mile a minute. The Great Qian dynasty had suffered 3 straight years of severe drought, and the summer grain tax was about to be levied again. Those corrupt officials intended to squeeze the common folk to the brink of death. Though he'd earned 20 taels of silver selling instant noodles today, how long would that money last in the modern world? If he truly wanted to stand firm in both realms and protect these 3 girls and the innocent villagers back in Great Qian, he had to expand his cross-world trading business. Instant noodles are just a gimmick. The real indispensable hard currency that holds all the leverage is salt and sugar. Lin Zian's eyes glinted faintly. Crude salt in Great Qian sold for 30 cash a caddy. It was tainted with toxins and bitter to the taste. By contrast, iodized refined salt, which cost only 2 yuan and 80 fen a caddy in the modern world, would be treated as top-tier tribute goods in Great Qian. Having made up his mind, Lin Zian stubbed out his cigarette and walked back to the living room. Manor, stay home and guard the door. I'm going to restock some goods, and tomorrow we'll head back to Great Qian. He stroked Zhao Manor's head gently. Zhao Manor nodded obediently. Take great care, husband. Manor and my sisters will wait for you. Meanwhile, in Qinghe County of the Great Qian dynasty, deep within the sprawling mansion of the Shun household, the wealthiest clan in the county, Shen Rushuang, the eldest young lady of the Shen family, sat upright on an armchair wearing a pale moon-white short jacket, staring at 5 colorful paper buckets laid out on the mahogany table before her. Miss, is this item truly as miraculous as you claim? Old butler Fu, standing beside her, looked utterly skeptical. Shen Rushuang said nothing, only ordered her maid. Fetch a pot of boiling water at once. Moments later, scalding hot water was poured into the paper buckets, their lids weighed down with blue and white porcelain saucers. Once the time was up, Shen Rushuang lifted a lid herself. An overpowering, rich aroma of braised beef instantly flooded the spacious hall. Butler Fu's eyes bulged like brass bells, his Adam's apple bobbing wildly. This fragrance. This old servant has lived 60 years, yet never has he smelled such an extraordinary, overwhelming scent. Not even the Buddha jumps over the wall from the imperial kitchen in the capital. Shen Rushuang picked up a pair of silver chopsticks, twirled a strand of golden curly noodles, and took a bite. The savory broth and springy texture made her close her eyes in bliss. That young man called this instant noodles. In the time it takes to burn 1 stick of incense, all 20 buckets were snapped up. Madame Wang even offered 10 taels of silver to place a pre-order. She set down her chopsticks, shrewd merchant's glint shining in her beautiful eyes. Butler Fu, do you grasp what this means? You mean, if my Shen family holds exclusive rights to sell this, we will monopolize all wealthy households in Qinghe County. We could even present it as tribute to forged connections in the capital. Shen Rushuang shot abruptly to her feet. Send men to search every corner of Qinghe County and find that young peddler of instant noodles. And do not slight him for a moment. He surely possesses even more wondrous treasures far greater than this. Early the next morning, inside a rental apartment in Jiangnan City, Lin Zian slung a massive black hiking backpack over his shoulders and gripped two heavy woven sacks in his hands. The backpack held 50 bags of iodized refined salt, 20 packs of monocrystalline rock sugar, several high-carbon steel kitchen knives, and a handful of lighters. The woven sacks were stuffed full of bucket instant noodles. Husband, carrying all this must be so heavy. Zhao Qiaoer, dressed in denim shorts, hurried over to help lift a sack, only to nearly topple over from its weight. Quit fussing. This weight is nothing to me. Lin Zian hoisted the sack with one hand, then turned to Zhao Manor, who had changed back into her tattered, ancient robes. Manor ready? Zhao Manor nodded solemnly. She pulled a smooth, warm jade pendant from her bosom, clutched it tight, and slipped her other hand into Lin Zian's. Let's go. A flash of white light, and the familiar sensation of weightlessness washed over them. When Lin Zian opened his eyes again, they stood in the remote alleyway of the East Market in Qinghe County, Great Qian. It was high noon, and the market bustled with more people than the day prior. Lin Zian had barely set down the two sacks and not yet laid out the instant noodles when rapid footsteps echoed from the alley entrance. We found him. Miss, the young man is right here. Lin Zian glanced up to see Shen Rushuang, the noblewoman in the pale moon-white jacket from yesterday, striding toward him flanked by several burly manservants. At the sight of Lin Zian, undisguised excitement bloomed across Shen Rushuang's poised features, though she reined in her emotions masterfully. She dipped into a graceful woman's bow. Young sir, I've searched everywhere for you. Lin Zian raised an eyebrow, inwardly celebrating the arrival of a big customer, yet his expression remained calm. Madam, have you finished the noodles from yesterday? You jest, young sir. How could Rushuang bear to finish such divine noodles in a single day? Shen Rushuang's gaze fixed intently on the sacks beside him. I've come today to propose a major business deal. Might you do me the honor of joining me for a talk at Immortal Gather restaurant? Lin Zian glanced at the passers-by starting to gather around them, well aware that wealth ought to be concealed. He nodded. Lead the way. Immortal Gather restaurant was the finest eatery in Qinghe County. Inside the premium private room marked Heavenly Suite No. 1. Shen Rushuang dismissed all servants, leaving only butler Fu standing guard outside the door. She personally poured Lin Zian a cup of premium pre-Ming Longjing tea, her gaze drifting to Zhao Manor, who stood meekly behind him. A flicker of astonishment crossed her mind. Though the maiden wore rags, her skin was fair and smooth as jade, far finer than any ordinary village girl's. This young man was clearly no common soul. Young sir, let us speak plainly. My Shun household will buy all your instant noodles, at 2 taels of silver per bucket. Shen Rushuang cut straight to the chase, doubling the price on the spot. Lin Zian sipped his tea and smiled faintly. Miss Shun, you are bold indeed. But instant noodles are merely trivial trinkets. The goods I brought today may be more than your clan can handle. Shen Rushuang blinked, then lifted her chin confidently. Surely you tease me, young sir. There is no cargo in Qinghe County the Shun family cannot afford. Oh, is that so? Lin Zian set down his teacup, unzipped his black hiking backpack beside him, and pulled out a bag of iodized refined salt, slamming it onto the table. Crack! Shen Rushuang stared at the transparent plastic bag printed with strange patterns, her expression shifting sharply. When she saw the pure white powder inside, flawless as fresh winter snow without a single speck of impurity, she shot to her feet, so abruptly, she knocked over her teacup. What is this substance? Her voice trembled. Salt. Lin Zian leaned back against his chair, his tone as casual as commenting on fair weather. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Shen Rushuang snatched up the salt bag, staring at it unblinkingly. Even the finest tribute salt in Great Qian carries a faint yellow tint and a bitter tang. This, snow-white, crystal-clear powder cannot possibly be salt. Lin Zian offered no explanation. Instead, he dragged a fingernail lightly across the plastic packaging. A soft tearing sound cut through the air. Before Shen Rushuang's stunned eyes, the paper-thin yet remarkably tough plastic bag split open along a narrow slit. Lin Zian tapped a pinch of the white powder onto his palm and held it out to her. Miss Shen, seeing is believing. Care to taste it? Shen Rushuang swallowed hard, her chest heaving violently. She stretched out her slender pale fingers, trembling, dipped a fingertip in the powder, and placed it on her tongue. The moment it touched her taste buds, no bitterness, no earthy aftertaste, only pure, vivid, perfect saltiness. This is a gift from the gods. Shen Rushuang sank heavily back into the armchair, muttering to herself, fanaticism blazing in her eyes. If this salt enters the market, every salt merchant in Great Qian will lose their entire fortune. Young sir, Where did you acquire this salt? Its origin matters not. What matters is whether you wish to strike this deal. Lin Zian slowly pulled another pack of monocrystalline rock sugar from his bag and set it on the table with a sharp tap. That was salty. This is sweet. You've tasted its purity. It is 100 times sweeter than the malt sugar produced in your realm. Shen Rushuang stared at the rock sugar crystals, each shaped like a tiny square gemstone. She grabbed Lin Zian's wrist, her ample bosom rising and falling with agitation, accidentally brushing her chest against the back of his hand. I will buy them. Young sir, my Shen family will take all this salt and sugar. Name your price. 50 bags of salt, 20 packs of sugar, 20 buckets of instant noodles. Lin Zian gently pulled his wrist free, his tone cool. I want no bank drafts, only silver or gold bullion. 100 taels of silver for this batch. Consider it a gesture of friendship. 100 taels. In drought-stricken Qinghe County, where grain prices had skyrocketed for 3 years running, this was an astronomical sum. Yet Shen Rushuang did not so much as blink. She called out to the hallway at once. Butler Fu, fetch 100 taels of silver bullion from the account office, quickly. In less than the time it takes to finish a cup of tea, 10 heavy ingots of 10 taels each were laid out before Lin Zian. Lin Zian swept all the silver into his woven sack, then pulled out a 1 yuan plastic lighter. A faint blue flame flared to life with a sharp click. Shen Rushuang recoiled 2 steps, face drained of color. What divine magic is this? A gift for you. Handy for lighting cigarettes and candles. Lin Zian tossed the lighter to her, slung his weighted backpack over his shoulders, and took Zhao Manor's hand. She stood quietly behind him, eyes full of adoration. I will return in 3 days. With that, Lin Zian led Zhao Manor out of a Mortal Gather restaurant and turned into an empty dead-end alley. Close your eyes. We're going home. A flash of white light, and the sweltering air of Great Qian vanished, replaced by cool air from an air conditioner. Back at the rental apartment, Lin Zian tossed the heavy backpack to the floor. With a clatter, piles of gleaming silver ingots spilled across the ground, shimmering brightly under the fluorescent lamp. Wow, so much silver. Zhao Qiaoer and Zhao Huar, who'd been watching television, rushed over at the commotion. Zhao Qiaoer threw herself into the mound of silver, grabbing 2 ingots and rubbing them against her cheeks. Husband, did you empty the imperial treasury of Great Qian? This is nothing. Lin Zian laughed and ruffled her hair. He did a quick mental calculation. 100 taels of silver, converted to modern silver prices, amounted to nearly 40,000 yuan, enough to live comfortably for a while longer. You've worked hard, husband. Wash your face first. Zhao Manor stepped forward softly, holding out a damp towel, tenderness and longing brimming in her gaze. After dinner, Lin Zian spread a blanket across the sofa as usual. Night fell silent, only the fan whirring steadily. Lin Zian was drifting off to sleep when a sudden weight pressed down on him. A sweet scent of body wash mixed with the unique fragrance of a young woman filled his nostrils. He jolted awake. By the faint moonlight filtering through the window, he made out the figure straddling his waist. Zhao Manor wore the white square neck short-sleeve shirt Lin Zian had bought her that day. She paired it with a black bodycon skirt. The skirt had ridden up to her upper thighs from her movement, revealing a stretch of dazzling pale skin. Her long, straight jade legs clamped tightly around his waist, a flash of white skin at her neckline peeking through the shadows cast by the moon. Mana, what are you doing? Get down at once. Lin Zian gasped, feeling blood rush downward through his body. Had the girl any idea how provocative her position was? Husband, her voice trembled, thick with suppressed sobs and overwhelming shyness. She leaned forward, pressing her warm cheek against his chest, fingers clutching his shirt tightly. I won't move. I am your lawfully wedded wife, but on our wedding night, you were taken away. We never truly shared ourselves. Manor, listen to me. This is the modern world. There's no rush. Lin Zian tried to push her away, but the unbelievable soft smoothness beneath his palms made him yank his hands back in shock. But I cannot wait. Zhao Manor lifted her head, eyes glistening with tears, delicate pink blush staining the corners of her eyes. You've treated us so kindly, feeding us divine delicacies and dressing us in such fine clothes. I have no way to repay you. The village elders say a woman only truly belongs to her husband once she gives herself to him. You've slept out here on the sofa every night. Do you find my body unclean? Don't talk nonsense. Lin Zian's heart softened at her wronged expression. This girl had struggled to survive 3 brutal years in the cruel world of Great Qian, crippled by a desperate lack of security. She needed this primal, intimate bond to cement her place in this strange new world, to tie herself to him completely. If you do not find me filthy, then take me. Zhao Manor bit her lower lip. Her fumbling hands moved to undo the buttons of Lin Zian's shirt. Nervousness made her fingers shake nonstop. Every accidental brush against his chest sent shivers racing across his skin. The second and third sisters are fast asleep. Husband, claim me. Zhao Manor closed her eyes, long eyelashes fluttering wildly, and pressed her soft lips to his. The warmth of her mouth and sweet fragrance surrounding him snapped the last thread of rationality in Lin Zian's mind. To hell with restraint. She was his lawful wife. What reason did he have to hold back? Lin Zian rolled over sharply, pinning Zhao Manor beneath him. Heavy hot breath fanned her ear, drawing uncontrollable delicate tremors from the young woman. You brought this on yourself. His voice turned husky as his hand slipped beneath her thin clothing. The night hung soft and warm, and faint, suppressed sultry whimpers soon echoed through the cramped rental apartment. Morning sunlight streamed through the apartment windows, spilling over the narrow double bed. Lin Zian stirred awake, one arm numb from lying on it all night. He turned his head slightly to see Zhao Manor curled against his chest like a docile kitten. Her fair, smooth shoulders peeked out from the thin blanket. Her long eyelashes twitched faintly in the sunlight, faint tear tracks lingering at the corners of her eyes, yet a satisfied, peaceful smile tugged at her lips. Memories of the wild night made Lin Zian's throat go dry. Though she seemed gentle and fragile, deep down she held the stubborn devotion typical of women from Great Xian. Once her heart was given, she would never waver. As if sensing his gaze, Zhao Manor let out a soft murmur and slowly opened her clear, glassy eyes. The moment their gazes met, her face blazed crimson all the way to her ears. She ducked half her head under the blanket, only her eyes peeking out, voice barely audible. Husband, you're awake. Still calling me husband? Lin Zian smiled, pinching her exposed nose lightly. Didn't I tell you what to call me here last night? Husband. She stumbled over the modern word that filled her with embarrassment, her face burning bright red. Good girl. Lin Zian pressed a kiss to her forehead and pulled back his numb arm. Rest a little longer. I'll make breakfast. Water and shower will wake soon. Mention of her two sisters deepened her embarrassment. Though they'd kept quiet the night before, the apartment was tiny. She feared the girls might have heard everything. After using the restroom, Lin Zian found the sofa blanket neatly folded. Zhao Huar and Zhao Qiao sat on small stools, staring longingly at the black television screen. Husband. At the sight of him, Zhao Qiao charged forward like a tiny cannonball and wrapped her arms around his thigh. She tilted up a face identical to Zhao Manor's, big eyes glistening with grievance. Why won't the box with people inside light up? The cat chasing the mouse cartoon hadn't finished yesterday. It's called a television. You need a remote to turn it on. Lin Zian ruffled her hair helplessly. The girl was a perfect mix of insatiable curiosity and ravenous appetite. Zhao Huar stood and dipped a modest bow. Her gaze swept over Lin Zian's faintly weary face, a subtle, unreadable flicker crossing her eyes, and she spoke softly. You labored hard last night, husband. Cough. Lin Zian nearly choked on his own saliva. The second sister was far more perceptive than the youngest. He quickly changed the subject. Are you hungry? I'll make breakfast right away. Knowing the three girls had weak stomachs after 3 years of famine, Lin Zian avoided greasy food. He simmered a thick pot of congee with leftover northeast rice from the previous night, fried 3 poached eggs, and laid out pickled mustard tuber and pork floss bought from the supermarket. As he set the steaming congee on the table, Zhao Manor emerged from the bathroom, cheeks still flushed. Her walk remained slightly stiff, yet her gaze clung to Lin Zian, thick with tender longing. Wow, this congee is so thick and white. Zhao Qiao held her spoon, exclaiming in awe. In Great Xian, congee was nothing but murky water floating with a handful of unhusked rough rice. They had never seen such translucent, fully softened white porridge. Try some of this. Lin Zian picked up a chopstickful of meat floss and dropped it into Zhao Qiao's congee. The young girl took a big slurp, and her eyes instantly went wide as saucers. It's sweet, salty, and there's meat flavor. Husband, what divine treasure is this? It's called meat floss. Lin Zian couldn't help smiling at the sight of her gobbling it down. Slow down, no one's going to steal it from you. After breakfast, Zhao Huar volunteered to wash the dishes. She picked up new skills extremely fast and could already use dish soap and running water with ease. Meanwhile, Zhao Qiao sidled up to Lin Zian, tugging at the hem of his robe and swaying back and forth. Husband, you said we finished all that milk candy yesterday. Do you have any other tasty treats today? Lin Zian glanced out the window at the blazing midday sun and stroked his chin. I do. Today I'll take you all to try something cold and sweet called ice cream, Lin Zian said. Ice cream? Though Zhao Qiaoer had no idea what it was, the word sweet treat made her mouth water uncontrollably. But before that, I need to run out and buy some things. Lin Zian stood up. He'd earned 100 taels of silver the previous day. It was worth nearly 40,000 in modern currency, so he was now a man of modest means. His business in the Great Qin dynasty needed to keep expanding, and his supply stockpile had to keep up. Manner, stay home and watch television, don't wander off. I'm heading to the mall, Lin Zian instructed, grabbing his phone and keys before heading out. 2 hours later, Lin Zian trundled back to the rental flat loaded with shopping bags. The second he pushed open the door, Zhao Qiaoer let out a cheer. Husband's home. Lin Zian set down his parcels and pulled a tub of Haagen-Dazs out of an insulated cooler bag, twisting off the lid. A rich vanilla milk aroma billowed out along with wispy cold mist. This is ice cream. Lin Zian handed Zhao Qiaoer a tiny spoon. Zhao Qiaoer carefully scooped a small bite and popped it into her mouth. The next second, the girl froze completely. She closed her eyes, letting the icy, ultra-smooth sweet cream melt across her tongue, the chill sliding all the way down her throat to her stomach. Tears welled up in Zhao Qiaoer's eyes, overcome with delight. It's incredible. Husband, this must be food for celestial immortals. It's icy cold and sweeter than milk candy. Zhao Manor and Zhao Huar each got a scoop too. They ate far more demurely, yet their gazes held no less awe than Qiaoer's. In the Great Qin dynasty, ice was a luxury reserved only for the imperial family and top-tier nobles. Common folk never even laid eyes on it, let alone this modern delicacy. Eat as much as you like, I'll always have plenty for you later. Lin Zian smiled at his 3 wives, silently vowing to build a vast enterprise in the Great Qin so they could live truly prosperous lives. Meanwhile, Qinghe County, Great Qin dynasty. Inside the sprawling Shen Manor, the atmosphere hung heavy enough to drip. Shen Rushuang stood rigid in the main hall wearing a sleek martial tunic, her beautiful face cold as frost. Before her, old steward Fu stood sweating profusely, delivering his report. Miss, we found out. The instant noodles we bought yesterday, Master snuck and ate all of them himself. Father, Shen Rushuang looked stunned. Has he lost his mind, eating that many alone? Xiao Tsui, the maid attending Master, said, he barely touched any proper meals yesterday. Master shared all the noodles with his concubines, Steward Fu stammered. He ate every single one. Shen Rushuang's elegant phoenix eyes flew wide, staring at the steward in disbelief. 20 whole buckets. Father can't even finish a single bowl of bird's nest congee normally. Yet he polished off 20 buckets of this celestial noodle dish all by himself. Steward Fu pulled a long face, wiping sweat from his brow. Miss, it's the absolute truth. Master was going over account books in his study yesterday when he caught the scent. He headed to the rear courtyard. Not only did he gorge himself, he called all his concubines over to join him. Xiao Tsui said he licked every last drop of soup from the bowls, raving it tasted like dragon liver and phoenix marrow. First thing this morning, he claimed his aches and pains were gone, and ordered me to find that young gentleman again to buy another 100 buckets. Shen Rushuang massaged her throbbing temples, equal parts exasperated and amused. Those noodles had been meant as a gift to curry favor with powerful nobles in the capital, and her own father had devoured them all as midnight snacks. Enough of this. Shen Rushuang drew a deep breath, resolve hardening in her eyes. That young man doesn't only have the celestial noodles. He also possesses snow-white refined salt and rock sugar sweeter than honey. At the same time, Jiangnan City, the modern world. Inside the 30-square-meter rental flat, an electric fan whirred away, blowing only hot air. Zhao Qiaoer clutched the empty Haagen-Dazs tub, her little tongue darting out to lap the melted cream along the rim, her pale bare legs swinging from a small wooden stool. Zhao Manor and Zhao Huar wore equally satisfied expressions, still savoring the soul-stirring cold sweetness. Lin Zian sat in a single armchair, gazing at his 3 breathtaking wives huddled in the cramped room, then glancing at the rickety wooden bed that creaked with every turn. A fierce resolve welled up inside him. This shabby place was unworthy of his 3 precious wives. He had over 40,000 yuan sitting in his bank account. Buying a house in Jiangnan City was out of the question, but renting a luxury residence to upgrade their living standards was well within his means. Manor, Huar, Qiaoer, stop licking the tub. Go change into the new summer clothes I bought you yesterday. Lin Zian stood up and waved his hand grandly. Husband, where are we going? Zhao Qiaoer instantly dropped the tub and bounced to her feet in excitement. I'm taking you to a place fit for immortals. Lin Zian smiled mysteriously. Half an hour later, Yunding Tianzhu, Jiangnan City's most upscale luxury apartment complex. Led by a property agent, Lin Zian stepped through the front door of a large flat on the 28th floor. He was flanked by three stunning young women in modern summer outfits who drew every passerby's gaze. Mr. Lin, this unit is 150 square meters, for bedrooms, 2 living rooms, fully renovated with smart home systems throughout. Central air conditioning, all appliances included, move-in ready. Deposit equal to 1 month's rent. Pay 3 months upfront, 8,000 a month. The agent chattered enthusiastically, stealing sideways glances at the three identical beauties trailing Lin Zian. Good grief, who was this guy? Were these three mirror image goddesses all his? The agent quickly cut off that dangerous line of thought. I'll take this one. Swipe my card, Lin Zian said without haggling, pulling out his bank card. After signing the lease, the agent left profusely grateful. The front door clicked shut, leaving Lin Zian alone with his three wives, utterly dumbfounded by the spacious, bright home. Husband, is this truly where we'll live from now on? Zhao Manor's voice trembled as she stared at the mirror-polished marble flooring, too afraid to step foot on it for fear of staining this divine dwelling. It is. This is our new home. Lin Zian walked over with a smile and took her hand. Ah! Zhao Qiaoer suddenly cried out, pointing at the ceiling. Husband, there's no fan here, yet it's so cool. Cold wind seems to blow straight from the walls. That's central air conditioning, far better than a fan. Lin Zian walked to the center of the living room. He cleared his throat. Xiao Ai, open the curtains. Understood, opening the curtains for you. A soft female voice spoke out of nowhere. Immediately, 2 layers of heavy blackout drapes along the floor-to-ceiling windows slid smoothly apart to either side. Blinding afternoon sunlight flooded the living room, laying the entire bustling cityscape of Jiangnan out before their eyes. A ghost! Zhao Huater paled, instinctively stepping in front of her 2 sisters. She snatched a broom from the entryway, eyes darting warily around the room. Who's speaking? Show yourself. Lin Zian roared with laughter, gently pried the broom from her grasp, and slipped an arm around her slender waist. Don't be frightened. It's no ghost. This is a smart voice assistant. Think of it like the intricate mechanical contraptions from Great Qian. Call its name, and it will tend to your chores. A warm blush spread across Huater's cool cheeks at his hand on her waist. Her body stiffened slightly, yet she made no move to pull away. Mechanical contraptions, could they truly work such wonders? You've only seen a fraction of the marvels. Lin Zian released her and led the 3 girls on a tour of their new flat. The double-door refrigerator left Zhao Qiaoer convinced an ice kingdom was hidden inside. The plush leather sofa was so deep and soft that Zhao Manor sank into it and never wanted to stand up again. When Lin Zian pushed open the master bathroom door, the 3 girls fell completely silent. The bathroom spanned 20 square meters, centered on a huge circular whirlpool tub, flanked by a full glass shower enclosure and a smart toilet. This enormous basin is for bathing? Zhao Manor covered her mouth in shock. Back in the Great Qian, even county magistrates only bathed in large wooden tubs. It's a double-person tub, though all 4 of us will fit comfortably together. A mischievous grin tugged at Lin Zian's lips. He stepped to the tub and pressed the water tap. Warm water gushed out with a rushing sound, and Lin Zian tossed in a handful of bath bombs. Within moments, the tub filled with frothy white foam scented with rose. Manor, Huater Qiaoer. Lin Zian turned to face his 3 stunned wives, his gaze growing warm and intense. It's sweltering out. Why don't we bathe together? Tea together? Zhao Manor's mind flashed back to the wildness of the night before. Her face flushed bright red like a ripe apple, and she stepped backward hurriedly. Husband, it's broad daylight. We can't possibly. Why not? Lin Zian pulled her tight into his arms, leaning down to murmur in her ear. Last night you said you were mine. Are you going back on your word now? Zhao Huater turned her back, too bashful to watch. Zhao Qiaoer stared curiously at the foamy bubbles in the tub, torn between wanting to play in them and overwhelming shyness. Huater, Qiaoer, come here too. Lin Zian had no intention of letting them slip away. For 3 years, they'd lived in constant fear and uncertainty in the Great Qian. Now he would wrap them in boundless tenderness and safety, melting every ounce of their anxiety away. Half reluctant, half willing, 3 sets of modern summer dresses slipped onto the smooth marble floor. As the 3 identical, fair-skinned, breathtaking maidens stepped into the tub together, a frayed wire snapped in Lin Zian's mind entirely. Water splashed everywhere, foam swirling through the air. Husband, what are you touching? Eldest sister, husband's being naughty. He, MMPH. The spacious bathroom brimmed with unrestrained warmth. 2 hours later, Lin Zian sat fresh and relaxed on the living room sofa in pajamas. On the 2.2-meter latex bed in the master bedroom, the three girls lay fast asleep, worn out. He settled back into the wide leather sofa, holding an icy soda pulled straight from the double-door fridge. He listened to the fizz of bubbles and let out a long, contented sigh. Recalling the vivid, intimate scene in the tub, the heat that had faded within him flared back to life. Truly, sharing joy with triplets was more than any ordinary man could bear. Gurgle. A faint rumble of hunger drifted out from beneath the master bedroom door. Lin Zian glanced at the wall clock. It was 5 in the afternoon. After all their exertion, the three girls must have burned through all their energy. He picked up his phone and opened a food delivery app. 2 family buckets, load up on fried chicken legs, French fries and egg tarts, plus 4 large iced cokes. Lin Zian placed the order quickly. 20 minutes later, the master bedroom door creaked open a crack. Zhao Qiaoer poked out a fluffy head, her hair messy and disheveled. She wore an oversized white button-down shirt Lin Zian had tossed onto the bed earlier. The hem barely covered her thighs. Her pale bare legs crossed shyly. She called out softly, "Husband, are you there? You're awake? Come out." Lin Zian waved her over. Zhao Qiaoer stepped forward boldly, followed by Zhao Manner and Zhao Huar, also clad in men's oversized shirts. 3 identical white shirts on 3 identical maidens of vastly different temperaments, their faint curves peeking through the fabric, creating an intoxicating innocent allure that made Lin Zian swallow hard. "Husband, that soft bed was frightening at first. When I laid down, I thought I'd fallen into a cloud and didn't dare move for ages." Zhao Qiaoer nestled up beside him, wrapping her arms around his arm and rubbing against it affectionately. "But sleeping on it was wonderful, 10,000 times better than a straw mat." Zhao Manner's cheeks stayed flushed, her gait still unsteady. She walked to his side and knelt gently on the carpet, resting her head on his knee. "Husband, am I too weak to have fainted so quickly? It's not your fault. I was far too eager." Lin Zian pinched her cheek shamelessly. Zhao Huar stood to one side, a lingering blush tinting her cool features. She tugged self-consciously at the shirt hem to cover more of her legs, whispering, "Husband, when will we return to the Great Qian? My cousin at Second Uncle's village will be left helpless if the tax collectors come. Don't worry, I have a plan." Lin Zian dropped his playful tone. "Once we finish this meal, we'll head back. This time, I'll make all the wealthy landowners of the Great Qian empty their silver coffers willingly." Just then, the doorbell chimed. Ding dong. Ambush weapons. Zhao Huar tensed instantly, grabbing a fruit knife from the coffee table and holding it before her chest defensively. "Calm down, it's just food delivery." Lin Zian patted the back of her hand with a laugh, walked to the door, and took 2 large bags of KFC heavy with fried food sent from the delivery driver. When Lin Zian laid the family buckets, chicken legs, and iced cokes across the dining table, the 3 girls' eyes went wide once more. What divine bird's flesh is this? How can it carry such a rich, overpowering aroma? Zhao Qiaoer's mouth watered profusely. Chickens in the Great Qian were scrawny and bony. She had never seen fried chicken coated in golden crispy batter, juicy and plump. "This is fried chicken. Have a taste." Lin Zian handed her a massive chicken leg. Zhao Qiaoer bit down without hesitation. Crunch. The crisp crust shattered in her mouth, releasing hot, tender chicken juice mixed with the sweet savory Orleans marinade, exploding across her taste buds. MMPH. Tears spilled from Zhao Qiaoer's eyes again as she chewed ravenously. "It's amazing. Eldest sister, second sister, the skin's crisp, and juice bursts out inside. Are all the chickens in the celestial realm this delicious?" Zhao Manner and Zhao Huar could resist no longer, each grabbing a piece of fried chicken. Soon the only sound filling the room was loud crunching. "Don't just eat meat. Drink something to cool your throat." Lin Zian pushed the iced cokes with straws toward them. Zhao Huar took a sip, then her eyes flew wide. She clapped a hand over her mouth, pure shock etched across her cool face. "Husband, there are tiny hidden weapons in this black water. They're stinging my tongue." "Ha!" Lin Zian laughed heartily. "Those are carbonation bubbles. Swallow it and see." Zhao Huar swallowed cautiously. A rush of icy cold slid down her throat to her stomach, and an unbridled burp escaped her. Burp. Zhao Huar blushed bright red, wishing she could vanish into the floorboards. Yet her gaze drifted back involuntarily to the dark, bubbly drink. "This liquid is extraordinary. Drinking it leaves my whole body light and relaxed." They devoured the food in record time, polishing off both family buckets completely. Full and content, Lin Zian stood and walked to the entryway. He slung a black hiking backpack stuffed with refined salt, rock sugar, and instant noodles over his shoulders, then lifted 2 heavy woven sacks. Change back into your robes. It's time to get to work. A sharp, determined glint entered Lin Zian's eyes. It was time to drive the first solid stake into his commercial empire in the Great Qian Dynasty. Qinghe County, Great Qian Dynasty, Juxian Tower Restaurant. Inside the top-tier private room marked Room 1 of Heaven, Shun Rushuang paced back and forth restlessly. Her father had single-handedly finished 20 buckets of instant noodles the day before, demanding more of the celestial noodles. Worse still, the sacks of refined salt and rock sugar she'd brought home had astounded the clan elders, even drawing attention from powerful contacts in the prefectural city. "Miss, do not fret. That young gentleman took your silver, so he will surely come." Steward Fu tried to soothe her. The moment his words faded, the private room door swung open. Lin Zian stepped inside bearing the heavy backpack, accompanied by Zhao Manor, who had changed back into ancient robes. "Young sir, you finally arrived." Shen Rushuang's face lit up at the sight of him, as if he were her savior. She hurried forward, casting aside all proper boundaries to seize his wrist. "Where are the goods? Did you bring them?" Lin Zian looked at her with a faint knowing smile, gently slipping his wrist free. He slammed the 2 woven sacks down onto the table. 100 buckets of braised beef instant noodles, plus. Lin Zian unzipped his hiking backpack and poured 50 bags of iodized refined salt and 20 packs of crystal rock sugar across the table in a glittering white heap. "How do you plan to take this shipment, Miss Shen?" Shen Rushuang stared at the mountain of snow-white salt and translucent rock sugar, her chest rising and falling rapidly, her eyes blazing with the fervor of a merchant beholding priceless treasures. "I will buy every last bit. Name any price, and the Shun household will pay it all." Shen Rushuang bit her red lip, her intense gaze fixed firmly on Lin Zian. "Beyond that, Rushuang wishes to strike a long-term deal with you. If you agree to supply these divine goods exclusively to my Shen clan, name whatever terms you desire. Terms are mine to set." Lin Zian stepped up to Shen Rushuang and bent slightly forward. They stood so close that Lin Zian could catch the faint powder fragrance clinging to Shen Rushuang's skin, intertwined with the ripe, alluring aura she exuded from agitation. "You've got guts." Lin Zian straightened up and held out 3 fingers. "First, I want none of the Great Qian copper coins or banknotes, only solid gold and silver bullion. Second, you are to secure the 3 largest grain warehouses outside Qinghe County, fully stocked with grain, preferably polished rice and fine wheat flour. Third." Lin Zian paused, his gaze sweeping over the starving refugees lining the streets outside the window, their faces gaunt and their tattered rags barely covering their bodies. His voice turned cold. "The Shen clan must set up porridge stalls outside the city. Feed every fleeing migrant who still draws breath, every last one of them." At his words, the feverish light faded slowly from Shun Rushuang's face. "Young sir, my Shen household can deliver on the first 2 demands." Shen Rushuang drew a deep breath, her full chest rising and falling softly. "But the third? Do you know there has been a 3-year severe drought across Great Qian, with refugees swarming like locusts? Once those porridge stalls go up, starving folk from miles around will flood here. It's a bottomless pit. Worse still, the imperial court deeply fears powerful local clans gathering crowds of displaced people. If we are branded as assembling rebels, the entire Shen clan will face execution of 9 generations. What? The wealthiest person in Qinghe County lacks such courage." Lin Zian let out a cold snort and pulled a high-intensity flashlight from his pocket, clicking it on with a sharp snap. Blinding light blazed straight into Shen Rushuang's eyes. "Ah!" Shen Rushuang cried out, instinctively shielding her face with her sleeves. Old Fu beside her dropped to his knees in terror, shouting that an immortal had manifested. Lin Zian switched off the flashlight and spoke flatly. "Miss Shen, you are a clever woman. In these chaotic times, mountains of silver will only make you meat on someone else's chopping block. Only those who hold grain and command people can survive long-term. Your clan will claim all the prestige for distributing porridge and win the loyalty of every refugee. As for grain, I guarantee an endless supply if you hold up your end of the bargain." Shen Rushuang lowered her sleeves, staring at Lin Zian's calm, yet intimidating face, then glanced at the rare refined salt and rock sugar laid out on the table, goods unheard of in Great Qian. She gritted her teeth, a ruthless resolve flashing in her eyes. "Very well. The Shun clan accepts this deal." Shen Rushuang slammed her palm down firmly. "However, running porridge stalls will drain massive funds. I can only pay 50 taels of gold up front for this batch of salt and sugar. The rest will serve as a deposit for grain purchases. Will that suffice? Deal. Lin Zian nodded. One more matter. Send several trustworthy men to Zhao village, 30 li outside the city, to fetch my wife's cousin's entire family. And make sure they go discreetly. Rest easy, young sir. Leave it all to Rushuang. A stick of incense's time later, Lin Zian stuffed 50 taels of gleaming gold into his backpack, took Zhao Manor's hand, and walked out of Immortal Gather Tower beneath Shun Rushuang's deferential gaze. He turned into a dead-end alley, and a flash of white light erupted. Phew, nothing beats being home. Lin Zian tossed the heavy backpack onto the floor and slipped on a pair of slippers. Honey, you're back. The master bedroom door swung open, and Zhao Qiaoer darted out like a lively young deer. She still wore Lin Zian's oversized white shirt, its hem barely covering the top of her thighs. As she ran, her long, pale, straight legs shifted beneath the fabric, dazzling Lin Zian until his eyes swam. Zhao Huar followed close behind, clutching a bright red apple. Her normally cool features held undisguised wonder. Honey, this apple you bought is crisp and sweet, 10,000 times tastier than wild fruit from Great Qian. Zhao Qiaoer threw herself into Lin Zian's arms and nuzzled him familiarly. As long as you like it. There are watermelons and cherries in the fridge. I'll wash some for you later. Lin Zian wrapped an arm naturally around her slender waist and sat down on the sofa. Zhao Manor, cheeks flushed, fetched a glass of ice water for him, then knelt neatly on the carpet to massage his legs. Huar Qiaoer, come here. Lin Zian patted the empty spot beside him on the sofa. The two girls obediently walked over, slipped off their slippers just as Zhao Manor had, revealing small feet sheathed in white cotton socks, and knelt on the sofa. The hem of their white shirts rode up slightly with their kneeling posture, hinting at soft curves in an achingly pure sight that tested every ounce of self-restraint. Lin Zian tamped down the heat rising in his chest and pulled an iPad Pro out from under the coffee table. Honey, what is this? It looks like a black glazed slab. Zhao Huar leaned in curiously, the faint scent of her body wash drifting into Lin Zian's nose. It's a tablet computer, far more entertaining than a television. Lin Zian pressed the power button, and the screen lit up instantly. Wow, all three girls gasped in unison. Lin Zian opened Fruit Crush, a puzzle game he'd downloaded in advance. Cheerful background music played, and vividly colored fruit icons popped onto the screen. Watch closely. Match 3 identical pieces together, and they disappear. Lin Zian took Zhao Qiaoer's soft white hand and slid it across the screen. Bang, bang, bang. 3 watermelon icons burst apart, turning into gold coins. It vanished. The watermelons are gone. Zhao Qiaoer clapped her hands excitedly, her big eyes sparkling. Honey, let me play too. Lin Zian handed the tablet to her. Zhao Qiaoer poked tentatively at the screen with one finger, quickly figuring out the rules and playing with unbridled delight. Sister Manor, Sister Huar. Look, this is an apple. That's a banana. One tap and they're gone. It's so fun. Zhao Huar watched on, her cool dark eyes glinting with eagerness to try. Women of Great Qian had never laid eyes on such a miraculous contraption. The glowing, shifting images struck them as more wondrous than any immortal magic. Leaning back against the sofa, Lin Zian watched his 3 breathtaking wives chattering around the tablet, pealing out bell-like laughter every time they cleared a level. A surge of unparalleled contentment welled up inside him. Back in Great Qian, they had scraped bark off trees to fill their bellies, always at risk of being seized and sold off. Here, they were carefree little princesses, draped in his oversized shirts, feasting on fried chicken and watermelon, absorbed in a match 3 game. Honey, why do you keep staring at us? Zhao Manor caught his gaze, her cheeks flushing, her watery eyes soft with affection. Because you're beautiful. Lin Zian smiled and pinched her cheek lightly. You only tease Manor. Zhao Manor ducked her head shyly, yet her lips tugged upward in an involuntary smile. Just then, Zhao Qiaoer suddenly shoved the tablet aside, clutching her stomach with a pained frown. Honey, my tummy hurts. Lin Zian jolted upright in alarm. What's wrong? Did you eat something spoiled? Zhao Huar covered her mouth to stifle a soft laugh, her cheeks pinkening. Do not fret, husband. Third sister, she has just gotten her first menstruation. Her first period? Lin Zian froze, then comprehension dawned. Starvation and malnutrition in the harsh lands of Great Qian had stunted the girl's development. Now in the modern world, after days of full meals rich in protein and sugar, their bodies had finally begun to function normally. Honey, am I going to die? There's so much blood. Zhao Qiaoer's eyes welled with terrified tears, and she clung tightly to the hem of Lin Zian's shirt. Silly girl. This just means you're growing up. It won't kill you. Lin Zian felt equal parts amusement and sympathy, standing quickly to his feet. Manor, Huar, take her to the bathroom to clean up. I'll run downstairs to the supermarket to buy a few things. 20 minutes later, Lin Zian rushed back to the apartment carrying a large bag full of sanitary pads of all brands and lengths, plus brown sugar and heat patches. Guiding his 3 ancient wives through the door as they learned to tear open the packaging and fasten the pads to their underwear proved an awkward, tantalizing scene. Honey, this cotton pad is so strange, it sticks right on. It's far better than the cloth menstrual rags we used in Great Qian. Zhao Qiaoer poked her head out of the bathroom after changing, utterly amazed. That's modern technology for you. Lin Zian brewed her a cup of brown sugar water. Drink this, then lie down on the bed and stick a heat patch on your stomach. After settling Zhao Qiaoer in bed, Lin Zian walked to the floor-to-ceiling window and gazed out at Jiangnan City's glittering neon nightscape, his gaze growing deep and thoughtful. 50 taels of gold translated to over 10 million in modern currency. With this fortune, he could stockpile endless modern supplies. He would not only provide for his wives, he would use modern goods and technology to forge a peaceful, prosperous realm in that cruel, famine-stricken world. On the 2-meter-20 latex mattress, Zhao Qiaoer curled like a silkworm cocoon, a fresh heat patch pressed to her abdomen. Its steady warmth wrapped around her, drastically easing the cramping ache of her period. But barely 2 minutes of relief passed before her insatiable appetite surfaced again. Honey. Zhao Qiaoer poked half her fluffy head out from under the covers, her face still pale, yet her large eyes, identical to Zhao Manor's, twirled as she pleaded pitifully. My tummy hurts. I lost so much blood. I feel so weak. Lin Zian sat beside her bed rubbing her stomach, flicking her forehead lightly in exasperation. Cut the act. You just finished brown sugar water. This is a normal bodily function. You're not weak at all. But my mouth tastes bland. Zhao Qiaoer pouted unhappily, her pale legs shifting restlessly beneath the thin quilt. The hem of her oversized white shirt rode up, revealing a dazzling stretch of skin. Honey, you mentioned that fried chicken earlier. I want fried chicken to build my strength back up. Your stomach's still cramping. Fried food is the last thing you need. Lin Zian shook his head, amused. And who told you fried chicken fixes menstruation? You'll break out in pimples tomorrow. What's menstruation? Why won't it let me eat fried chicken? Zhao Qiaoer blinked innocently, utterly confused. Zhao Huar, folding laundry nearby, couldn't hold back a quiet snort, a faint blush dusting her cool cheeks. Third sister, stop misbehaving. Husband has already brought us countless immortal treasures. Why must you crave more food? You're taking sides with her. Husband said this means I've grown up, so why can't I have more meat? Zhao Qiaoer retorted boldly. Seeing her energetic enough to bicker, Lin Zian's worry faded completely. He stood and patted her quilt. Enough, no fried chicken today. But I bought strawberries this afternoon. I'll wash a bowl for you. They're tart and sweet, good for your body. Strawberries? Immortal fruit? I want some, I want some. Zhao Qiaoer cheered instantly. Lin Zian watched Zhao Qiaoer and Zhao Huar devour a plate of plump, bright red modern strawberries, even tearing up from how sweet they tasted, and a quiet sense of satisfaction washed over him. Night deepened, neon lights outside glowing with the bustle of the modern metropolis. Lin Zian stepped out of the shower in a pair of loose shorts, scanning the living room with a roguish glance. Zhao Qiaoer, worn out by her first period and full from fruit, sprawled sound asleep on the guest bedroom bed. Zhao Huar sat absorbed with the iPad, headphones on, watching Empresses in the Palace, the drama he'd downloaded for her. The girl had a natural fascination with palace intrigue, never once blinking as she watched. As for his eldest wife Zhao Manor, she knelt beside the coffee table in that dangerously alluring white shirt, carefully wiping the tabletop. Her slender, graspable waist swayed gently with her movements, a flash of pale skin peeking out from her loose collar. Heat stirred in Lin Zian's chest, and a scheme popped into his head. He stomped his feet deliberately as he walked to the sofa, dropping heavily onto it with a thud and letting out a long, dramatic sigh heavy with weariness and sorrow. Ah! The exaggerated sound struck Zhao Manor like thunder. Husband, what's wrong? Zhao Manor dropped her rag at once and hurried over to the sofa, her watery eyes swimming with anxiety and distress. Lin Zian seized her soft hands, burying his face in her palms, his voice rough with feigned desolation and fragility. Manor, my heart aches terribly. Husband, what troubles you? Did you run into hardship in Great Qian? Did Miss Shin mistreat you? Zhao Manor's eyes reddened with worry. Nothing of the sort. Lin Zian lifted his head, gazing at her with a somber look. It's just, The weight on my shoulders grows heavier every day. When I close my eyes, all I see is Great Qian's barren wastelands, corpses starved to death, families forced to trade their children for food. I fear I cannot protect you all. I fear the gold I earn will never buy enough grain. I fear you'll be forced back to gnawing tree bark again. Husband, Zhao Manor's heart shattered at his words, hot tears streaming down her cheeks. She was swept away by emotion, never stopping to recall he'd just earned 50 taels of gold that day. Worse still, I've been plagued by nightmares lately. Lin Zian pressed his advantage, looping an arm around her narrow waist and drawing her into his embrace. I dream I wake up, and you're all gone, leaving me all alone. Manor, I hate the dark, I hate sleeping by myself. Do not fear, husband. Manor is here. I will never leave you. Zhao Manor clung tightly to his neck, pressing her warm cheek to his chest, her voice trembling. Then, could you stay with me alone tonight? Lin Zian laid out his request plainly, fighting hard to hold back a grin tugging at his lips. Huar can keep Chower company. I truly dare not close my eyes alone. A blush flooded Zhao Manor's cheeks at once. She understood his hidden meaning perfectly. Yet the vulnerable look in his eyes stirred an overwhelming maternal tenderness within her. Manor will stay with you. She whispered the words barely loud enough to hear. Good girl. Overjoyed, Lin Zian swept Zhao Manor off her feet and strode toward the master bedroom, kicking the door shut behind them with a bang. Only a dim bedside lamp burned inside the master bedroom. Lin Zian laid Zhao Manor gently down on the soft latex mattress. Nervous, the girl clutched the hem of her shirt tightly, her long straight legs shifting uneasily. Her fair skin glowed a tempting pink beneath the lamplight. Manor, you are breathtaking. Lin Zian's voice turned husky as he leaned down, his warm breath fanning across her ear. Husband, didn't you say you were haunted by nightmares? Zhao Manor squeezed her eyes shut shyly, her long eyelashes fluttering wildly. I was. That's why I need you to chase away the bad spirits for me. Lin Zian smirked mischievously, slipping a hand beneath the oversized shirt. Husband, be gentle. The night wrapped around them softly, and faint, sultry sounds soon echoed through the master bedroom, mingling with the quiet bounce of the modern spring mattress. A tender, intimate union spanning two eras unfolded freely within the 30-square-meter luxury apartment. Morning sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows on the 28th floor of Cloud Summit residence, spilling over the rumpled latex bed. Lin Zian rubbed his aching lower back and slowly opened his eyes. Zhao Manor curled against his chest like a lazy cat, faint vivid marks scattered across her pale skin. The wild intimacy of the night before felt like a dream. The girl, tasting such closeness for the first time, had clung to him endlessly, nearly draining the modern man of all his strength. Husband. Zhao Manor stirred at his movement, snuggling deeper into his chest, her voice soft enough to melt honey. Has dawn broken? It has. Sleep a little longer. Lin Zian kissed her smooth forehead and carefully slipped his arm free from beneath her. Stepping out of the master bedroom, he heard noise from the living room. Zhao Huar sat rigidly upright on the sofa, absorbed in the iPad as the iconic blood test to confirm paternity seen from empresses in the palace played on screen. She held her breath, completely transfixed. The guest bedroom door stood ajar. Zhao Chower chewed a ham sausage, swinging her long pale legs in the air as she twisted a heat patch around in her hands, studying it curiously. Honey, this red meat sausage is amazing, tastier than fried chicken. Zhao Chower spotted Lin Zian and called out without a care. Glutton. Lin Zian ruffled her hair playfully. After washing up, Lin Zian brewed a cup of coffee, lit a cigarette by the window, and let his mind race through plans. Shen Rushuang's porridge stalls were surely under construction by now, but refugees were an endless drain on resources. 3 years of drought had ravaged Great Qian. Once word spread that Qinghe County offered free food, starving villagers from every surrounding hamlet would swarm in like locusts. Even 50 taels of gold would not sustain an endless supply of rice and flour shipped from the modern world. Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. I need work relief programs. Lin Zian exhaled a cloud of smoke. Great Qian lacked grain. He would introduce high-yield modern crops, sweet potatoes and potatoes. Great Qian lacked wealth. He would set them to work firing bricks, paving roads, and building new towns. Gathering this horde of refugees would lay the most formidable industrial foundation of this era. But before that, he first needed to resolve the public security crisis that inevitably came with masses of displaced people congregating. Starving men lose all reason. If a riot broke out or troublemakers incited looting of grain, Shen Rushuang's handful of household servants would stand no chance at all. I need something visually striking to strike fear into them. Lin Zian stubbed out his cigarette, changed his clothes, grabbed his car keys, and headed straight for the local hardware wholesale market and agricultural supply store. Meanwhile, 30 li outside Qinghe County in the Great Qian Dynasty. The blistering sun hung high overhead, cracking the parched earth wide open. Refugees, emaciated to skin and bones, lay sprawled on either side of the official road. Even tree bark and wild grass roots had long been gnawed clean. Shen Rushuang moved with remarkable efficiency. 3 massive porridge sheds had been erected overnight 10 li beyond Qinghe's city walls, dozens of giant iron cauldrons bubbling with thick, creamy white congee. The unique, fragrant aroma of modern polished rice drifted for miles on the wind, rousing countless refugees who'd lain ready to die. Eyes blazing with hunger, they dragged themselves toward the sheds. Form a line. Stay orderly. Anyone who cuts in line or snatches food will have their legs broken. Uncle Fu led dozens of Shun family servants armed with wooden staves, sweating profusely as he struggled to maintain order. In a shaded awning behind the porridge sheds, Shen Rushuang sat upright auditing account books. Beside her stood several ragged country folk, their faces etched with terror. At their head was a gaunt middle-aged man, Zhao Manor's second uncle. Hiding behind him was a skinny 15 or 16-year-old girl, frail as a bean sprout. Zhao Qing'er. Miss Shun, you said my cousin Manor found her husband and sent for us to live in comfort. Is that really true? Zhao Qing'er peeked out nervously, swallowing hard at the sight of the thick congee thick enough to stand chopsticks upright in the pot. Naturally it is. Shen Rushuang shot her a glance and sighed inwardly. The young man's wife was as beautiful as herself, and though this cousin had wasted away from starvation, there was a hint of quick wit in her features. Just then, a sudden commotion erupted at the front of the porridge sheds. Why only one bowl? I want a whole bucket. A dozen burly men far stockier than the average refugee, their eyes fierce and malicious, shoved through the crowd and charged recklessly for the iron cauldrons. What are you doing? Get back in line. Several Shin servants stepped forward to block them. Out of my way. The scar-faced ringleader drew a short dagger from his waist, kicked a servant flat on his back, and roared savagely. Brothers, the Shen family granaries are stuffed full of this fine white rice. Storm the granaries and eat our fill. This was plainly an incitement to riot by hidden agitators. The starving refugees were already teetering on the brink of collapse. At his words, the orderly queue dissolved into chaos. Hundreds of bloodshot eyes locked onto the porridge sheds, like floodwaters poised to burst a dam. Disaster. These are thugs under Commander Wang's troops, disguised as refugees. Uncle Fu's face turned ashen. He scrambled over to Shen Rushuang, stumbling. Young mistress, run. We cannot hold them back. Shen Rushuang paled. She'd planned for every contingency, yet never imagined garrison troops would brazenly stir refugees to plunder grain. At this critical life-or-death moment, everyone get down on the ground with your hands over your heads, now. The raucous crowd fell dead silent for a split second. Every person froze mid-motion and turned as one toward the voice. Lin Zian stood there in a crisp black windbreaker, a massive hiking pack slung over his shoulders, holding an odd-shaped device aloft that hummed with a faint electric crackle. It was a high-powered handheld megaphone he'd bought for 50 yuan at a modern night market. Behind him, Zhao Manor, Zhao Huar, and Zhao Qiao wore modified Hanfu long skirts Lin Zian had purchased in the modern world. The silky, spotless fabric shimmered under the sun, making them look like celestial maidens descended from the 9 heavens. Cousin, Zhao Qing'er rubbed her eyes, utterly dumbfounded. Her cousins, who once gnawed bark alongside her in starvation, now looked as stunning as figures painted on scrolls. The thunder god is angry. Someone whimpered in terror. The next instant, hundreds of refugees' legs buckled, and they crashed to their knees en masse. Though dizzy from the loud roar, the scar-faced ringleader was a hardened military brute through and through. Gritting his teeth, he raised his dagger at Lin Zian. Charmer. Men, cut him down and seize the grain. With that, he charged forward fearlessly with his lackeys. Seeking death. Lin Zian's expression remained blank. He tossed the megaphone casually to Zhao Qiao, then pulled a black cylindrical baton from his waist. A modern anti-riot high-voltage stun baton. The scar-faced man's dagger swung mere inches from his face. Yet Lin Zian advanced instead of retreating and slammed the baton's power switch. Crackle. Pop. Blinding blue electric arcs snaked wildly across the baton's tip, crackling with sharp bursts. Lin Zian jammed the baton unflinchingly against the scarred man's chest. "Yeah." Hundreds of thousands of volts surged through his body in an instant. The brute convulsed violently mid-air like an electrocuted toad, every strand of his hair standing on end before he crashed heavily to the ground. Foaming at the mouth, his skin scorched black with the acrid stench of burnt flesh. The remaining thugs wet themselves in terror, their blades clattering to the dirt. They dropped to their knees and kowtowed frantically. "Spare us, immortal! Spare us, God of Thunder's retinue!" Under the shaded awning, Shen Rushuang, Uncle Fu, and Zhao Qinger's entire family stared in stunned silence. "Listen closely, all of you. There is no God of Thunder here, only my rules, set by Lin Zian. I came here to feed you, to give you a chance to live. But anyone who tries to destroy my pots or steal my grain will end up just like that useless cur lying on the ground. Now line up in 4 columns. Elders and children to the left, able-bodied men to the right. Anyone cutting line gets sent away without food. Those who queue properly each get 1 bowl of thick congee and 2 white flour buns." Lin Zian waved his arm commandingly. At the mention of white flour buns, the refugees' eyes lit up again, yet cowed by the display of thunderous power, they obediently formed lines. Lin Zian turned and walked toward the awning. "Husband, you were amazing." Zhao Qiaoer rushed to greet him first, wrapping both arms around his without restraint, pressing her soft budding figure against his arm as she rubbed up against him, her big eyes sparkling with adoration. "That glowing stick you held just now made you far more imposing than any great general from opera tales." Lin Zian stuffed the megaphone into Zhao Qiaoer's waiting arms. "Qiaoer, hold on to this." "Wow, husband." This metal lump roars so loud, louder than blacksmith Uncle Wang at the village forge. Zhao Qiaoer hugged the megaphone curiously, her small fingers brushing back and forth over the power switch. "Fizz, hello? Eldest sister, second sister, can you hear me?" The megaphone blared Zhao Qiaoer's clear, childish voice, sending another jolt of fright through the refugees below, who thought she too wielded divine thunder magic. Zhao Manor flushed red and hurried forward to cover her younger sister's mouth, chiding gently. "Third sister, stop fooling around." Zhao Huar gazed at her husband with unbridled admiration. In the great Qin dynasty, women revered strong men who could protect them, and what Lin Zian had just done struck them as the work of a god walking among mortals. Cousin husband." Zhao Qinger hid behind her father, staring timidly at Lin Zian. "You're Qinger, right? Don't be afraid. From now on, stay with your cousins, and you'll have endless white flour meals every day." Lin Zian smiled and ruffled the girl's dry yellow hair, then turned to Shen Rushuang, still frozen in shock. "Miss Shun." He waved a hand in front of her face to snap her out of her daze. Shen Rushuang jolted back to reality, her chest heaving sharply, her gaze toward Lin Zian utterly transformed. Young sir, that treasure you wielded just now." She swallowed hard. "Just a small trinket for self-defense." Lin Zian cut her off before she could press further, dragging a large armchair to sit down with domineering ease. "Miss Shun, we've calmed the refugees for now, but your few dozen servants cannot manage thousands of mouths. More people will keep flocking here, and disaster will strike sooner or later. I know full well." Shen Rushuang forced a bitter smile. "Yet most able-bodied men of Qinghe have fled the famine. Those who remain are either street toughs or military thugs. I have no one reliable to employ. If no one is available, we train our own. I plan to establish a security corps here." Lin Zian tapped the table firmly. "A security corps?" Shen Rushuang stared blankly, confused. "A troop tasked with safeguarding peace." Lin Zian delivered a crash course in modern property management in plain, straightforward terms. Find a trustworthy man to serve as head of security, then select several skilled, obedient men as deputy captains. Each deputy captain commands 3 security officers, patrolling in trios with overlapping routes. The security corps has 2 sole duties. First, maintain order and subdue anyone stirring trouble. Second, supervise the refugees' labor. I, Lin Zian, do not feed idle hands. Brilliant light flickered across Shen Rushuang's beautiful eyes as she listened. Though the system sounded simple on the surface, it delegated power layer by layer while embedding mutual checks and balances, far more sophisticated than the ancient squad military system of the Great Qin Army. "Young sir, your wisdom is unmatched." Yet as for the head of security, she frowned, deep in thought, before suddenly brightening. "There is one man who might bear this burden, though he has an unyielding, fiery temper." "Who?" "Lei Tong, former captain of the Black Banner Army." Shen Rushuang lowered her voice. "He was once a fierce frontier general. Enraged by his superior fabricating bandit killings to claim merit, he beat the officer half to death. Stripped of his military rank, he was sent back to Qinghe. Now he dwells in a run-down temple outside the city with over a dozen crippled brothers in arms. If we can win him over, send for him. Tell him I guarantee the lives of all his men. Lin Zian did not hesitate for a second. Half an hour later, a man nearly 1.9 meters tall was led before the awning, his body corded with muscle, yet gaunt enough that every rib showed through his frame. He wore tattered single-layer garments, a hideous knife scar slicing across his left cheek. Though starvation made his legs shake, his spine remained ramrod straight. You are Lei Tong. Lin Zian sized him up and down, silently admiring the stalwart warrior. Miss Shun said you can save my brother's lives. Lei Tong wasted no pleasantries, his stare boring into Lin Zian unblinkingly. My brother's wounds have festered. The city physicians claim they cannot be cured. If you mock me, I will fight to my last breath to spill your blood. Lin Zian smiled. He unzipped the black hiking pack and pulled out boxes of amoxicillin capsules, bottles of iodophor, rolls of medical gauze. Then 2 open packs of Master Kong braised beef instant noodles and several Shuanghui ham sausages, sliding them across the table to Lei Tong. These are divine medicines to heal your brother's infected wounds. This is dry rations for them to quiet their hunger. Save their lives, and from today onward, your life belongs to me. Will you take this bargain? Lei Tong's Adam's apple bobbed wildly at the overpowering savory scent of the noodle cakes and sausages. Trembling, he picked up a box of amoxicillin. Though he could not read the simplified Chinese characters printed on it, he knew this was no ordinary mortal medicine. Thud! The iron-willed warrior crashed to both knees, slamming his forehead against the ground until blood trickled down his face. Lei Tong bows to Master. If you save my brothers, Lei Tong will be your loyal hound for the rest of his days. Meanwhile, inside Qinghe County Yamen, sandalwood incense curled gently through the rear hall. Chun Wenguang, magistrate of Qinghe, held a purple clay teapot and sipped tea unhurriedly. Magistrate, word from outside the city. The Shun household erected 3 massive porridge sheds, serving pure, snow-white polished rice without a speck of chaff. Moreover, Yin Yuan, chief constable standing below the dais, bowed slightly. The mysterious young man backing the Shin family has shown himself. He wielded a black rod that summons heavenly thunder, instantly charring several of Commander Wang's thugs. Thousands of refugees knelt and hailed him as the god of thunder's envoy. Oh, a treasure that unleashes thunder. A sharp glint flashed in Chun Wenguang's cloudy old eyes. And the ultra-fine white salt circulating the market, whiter than snow. This man is far from ordinary. Bang! Wang Biao, garrison commander seated to one side, slammed his fist hard on the table. Magistrate, that boy dared kill my men. This is an open insult to me, Wang Biao. I shall rally my troops, storm those porridge sheds outside the city, and seize all his treasure and grain. Commander Wang, calm yourself. Chun Wenguang smiled and held up a hand to soothe him. Someone volunteers to feed these refugees and lighten the county's burden. If you lead soldiers to attack them, you will alienate all local gentry. But there are no buts. Chun Wenguang stood and adjusted his official robe. Since this young man wields such heaven-defying power, as the magistrate who rules this people, I ought to investigate the refugees' plight in person. Yin Yuan, prepare my sedan chair. I shall venture outside the city to meet this self-proclaimed thunder god. Blistering sunlight blazed down outside Qinghe's walls. His Honor the Magistrate arrives. A 4-man official sedan chair, escorted by dozens of sword-bearing Yamen runners and armored soldiers, halted ostentatiously outside the shaded awning. Garrison Commander Wang Biao sat astride a tall steed. His brutish face swept over the scar-faced thug lying scorched and foaming on the ground. A flicker of dread crossing his features before greed consumed it entirely. He dismounted in one fluid motion and ripped open the sedan's curtain. Magistrate, this is the youth. He's gathered thousands of refugees, clear proof of treason. Men, seize him and confiscate all grain. Hold! A hand extended from the sedan, and Magistrate Chun Wenguang stepped out slowly. Clad in crimson magistrate robes, his cloudy old eyes darted over the dozens of iron cauldrons behind Lin Zian, the mountainous piles of snow-white polished rice, before settling on Lin Zian himself. You are young Master Lin, the one distributing porridge? Chun Wenguang spoke in formal bureaucratic tone, striding into the awning with a pompous gait and seating himself uninvited at the head seat. Young Master Lin's concern for the common folk warms this magistrate's heart. Yet per the Great Qian legal code, any commoner gathering over 500 refugees is guilty of plotting rebellion. I fear these porridge sheds cannot remain open. As his words fell, Wang Biao's soldiers half drew their waist daggers, bright blades glinting harshly in the sun. Seeing this, Lei Tong surged forward, his towering frame shielding Lin Zian like an iron tower. Lei Tong stepped back. We must not show disrespect to our county magistrate. Lin Zian patted Lei Tong's shoulder unhurriedly, painting an innocuous smile on his face. He glanced behind him. Manor, serve tea to his honor the magistrate. As you wish, husband. Zhao Manor stepped forward gracefully. She wore the modified Hanfu Lin Zian had bought in the modern world. A pale mooncross collar half-sleeve top, paired with a pale cyan chest-high horse-face skirt. Fabric woven with modern textile techniques clung silkily to her youthful curves. As she poured the drink, a flash of pale white skin peeked above her bodice, and her slender waist looked delicate enough to cup in one hand. Both Chun Wenguang and Wang Biao stared transfixed. Never had anyone in the great Qin dynasty laid eyes on such fabric or such a graceful figure. Your Honor, please. Zhao Manor set a transparent glass cup on the table. It held no tea, but amber-hued iced cola fizzing with tiny bubbles. What divine glass vessel is this? And what strange black liquid? Chun Wenguang swallowed hard, hands trembling as he clutched the glass that cost merely 2 yuan in the modern world. A tribute from the western regions, celestial nectar. Won't Your Honor taste it? Lin Zian smiled and gestured for him to drink. Chun Wenguang sipped cautiously. The next instant, an icy carbonated jolt shot straight to his skull. Burp. A loud belch escaped the magistrate's lips. His old face flushed red with embarrassment, yet he felt utterly refreshed, the sweltering heat of days past melting away. Splendid. Exquisite drink. I am glad it pleases Your Honor. Lin Zian dragged a chair to sit beside Chun Wenguang and lowered his voice. You spoke of treason against the crown, Your Honor. That is a grave injustice to this humble commoner. Far from plotting rebellion, I am laying groundwork for an immortal administrative achievement that will bring glory to you and Qinghe County. Oh, an achievement? Chun Wenguang raised an eyebrow. The shrewd old fox's curiosity piqued. Speak. If your words hold no merit, this magistrate's blade shall show no mercy. Wang Biao sneered beside them. Magistrate, pay no heed to his lies. Execute him at once. Commander Wang, silence. Let young Master Lin finish his speech. Chun Wenguang shot Wang Biao a sharp glare. Lin Zian cleared his throat, his eyes blazing with fervor as if possessed by a pyramid scheme ringleader. Your Honor, think of these thousands of refugees. If we drive them away, they will turn bandits and ravage villages. If we feed them indefinitely, it will drain our funds endlessly. But what if we set them to work? Work? What labor? Construct a grand wonder. Lin Zian slammed his palm on the table, making Chun Wenguang jump. I intend to fund this project personally, organizing these thousands of refugees to build the grandest, most magnificent complex in all the great Qin dynasty outside Qinghe's walls. Every inch of its ground will be paved with cement, smooth as a mirror. And this place shall be named Chun Wenguang Square. The glass cup in Chun Wenguang's hand nearly slipped to the ground. A square named after himself? Lin Zian kept spinning grand promises nonstop. Think about it, magistrate. Once Chun Wenguang Square is finished, common folk and elder ladies from all over the county can come here to dance and exercise every day. In times of war, this ground will become your military training field, where you assemble troops and review soldiers. At the very center of the square, I, your humble subject, will fund a bronze statue of you, 30 feet tall. Every time the people of Qinghe County set foot here and lift their heads, they will behold your dignified bearing, magistrate. They will speak of how Magistrate Chun put food on their tables, how Magistrate Chun gave them a place to strengthen their bodies. Such a meritorious deed that brings blessings to countless households. Once word reaches the capital and the emperor's ears. Lin Zian dragged out his voice on purpose. Why, you mean every word of this? You are truly willing to fund the construction of this, Chun Wenguang Square? Chun Wenguang's voice trembled. Every single word is true. Not only will I cover all construction costs, I will also supply all rations for these thousands of displaced refugees. I only ask that you, magistrate, grant me an official exclusive permit, so my security detail overseeing construction may lawfully carry wooden staffs for self-defense. Lin Zian nodded toward Lei Tong standing beside him. Granted. I hereby grant your request. Overcome with excitement, Chun Wenguang seized Lin Zian's hand tightly. Brother Lin, you are a godsend to Qinghe County. From this day forth, anyone who dares to lay a hand on your porridge stalls will cross me. Chun Wenguang. Chun Wenguang could not look at Lin Zian without delight. He carefully tucked the glass cup into his sleeve and rose to his feet. Brother Lin, I shall await good news regarding the square and statue construction. Rest assured, magistrate, I will send men to fire bricks and gather materials at once. Watching Chen Wenguang's satisfied figure depart by sedan chair, along with Wang Biao's humiliating retreat with his troops, quiet cheers erupted from within the makeshift awning. Lei Tong stepped before Lin Zian and dropped to one knee, his eyes blazing with admiration. Master, your schemes are unfathomably brilliant. You sent the government soldiers packing with but a few words. I am utterly convinced. This is called resource exchange, take note. Lin Zian smiled, then turned to glance at Zhao Huater beside him. Zhao Huater stared at him with an almost worshipful, cool gaze. Catching his eye, her cheeks flushed faintly, and she murmured softly, Husband, will we truly build this Chen Wenguang Square? Of course we will, why wouldn't we? Lin Zian pulled her slender waist into his embrace, then pinched Zhao Qiaoer's pouting cheek playfully. The land bears his name, but the shops, market stalls on the square, and even the troops we train will all belong to us. Come, I'll take all of you back to the modern world for barbecue. After instructing Lei Tong to fence the refugee camp with wooden palisades, Lin Zian led the three sisters into an abandoned, deserted temple with no one else around. A flash of white light, and the sweltering, dry air of the great Qin dynasty vanished, replaced by the cool air conditioning from the luxury penthouse at Yunding Tianzhu. Phew, nothing beats home. The moment Zhao Qiaoer landed, she kicked off her shoes without a second thought and threw herself barefoot onto the soft leather sofa, rolling around clutching a throw pillow. Husband, the way you fooled that corrupt official just now was magnificent. Gentle Zhao Man knelt down to hang up Lin Zian's windbreaker, her voice soft. Husband, that magistrate seems insatiably greedy. Are we really to spend such a vast sum of silver building him a square? Officials of the great Qian turn their backs faster than one flips a book. Sister speaks true. Zhao Huar knit her delicate brows, her cool eyes deep in thought. Commander Wang Biao's gaze was venomous as he left. I fear once the square stands, they will fabricate some charge to wipe us all out. What is there to fear? You'll never grow rich working for others. We're laying our own scheme to be masters now. Lin Zian walked to the refrigerator with a laugh, pulled out a large bottle of iced cola, and poured 4 cups. Chen Wenguang craves political prestige and a bronze statue of himself, so I shall give him exactly that. A flicker of ambition, a blend of capitalist and warlord, glinted in Lin Zian's eyes. As for Wang Biao, once our security squad is outfitted with modern gear, his few hundred undisciplined soldiers won't even be enough to fill our teeth. Let us feast first. We have a major shopping trip tonight. Half an hour later, at the open-air barbecue stall downstairs in the residential complex. Sizzling lamb skewers, golden crispy oysters grilled to perfection, and roasted chives dusted with cumin and chili powder were set on the table. This smells incredible. Zhao Qiaoer held a lamb skewer in one hand and a tendon skewer in the other, mouth dripping with oil. She gasped from the spice, yet refused to stop eating. Husband, this food called barbecue tastes far better than fried chicken. Even the emperor of the great Qian has never tasted lamb this delicious. Though Zhao Huar ate with refined manners, her chopsticks moved quickly. She sipped cold beer in small mouthfuls, a light blush spreading across her cheeks. Husband, this drink bubbles on the tongue and carries a faint bitterness, yet after swallowing, a sweet wheat fragrance lingers. It is wondrous. Watching his 3 stunning wives indulge in the simple delights of modern city life, Lin Zian's urge to protect them and his own ambitions swelled stronger than ever. In the great Qin dynasty, he was a master strategist akin to a divine military commander. Here, he was merely an ordinary man who only wanted his wives to live well. Once they had eaten their fill, Lin Zian herded the 3 girls into a spacious SUV he had recently rented and headed straight for the largest wholesale home appliance market in town. Shopkeeper, I'll take 3 of these outdoor solar fans with large capacity storage batteries. The ones fitted with LED floodlights. Lin Zian pointed at the display model on the shelf. Electricity did not exist in the Great Qian. Ordinary electrical appliances would be nothing but scrap metal there. These solar fans, however, charged under the sun during the day, blowing powerful cool air for over a dozen hours at night, while their built-in LED lamps lit entire rooms bright as day. In a world where even candles were unaffordable for most, this equipment was a crushing technological advantage. Husband, can this fan spin without that long cord? Zhao Huar leaned forward curiously, pointing at the black panel on the fan's rear. This is a solar panel. Lin Zian explained patiently. It captures sunlight from the sky and converts it into power to turn the fan. From now on, You can enjoy cool wind and bright light in our rooms in the Great Qian after dark. Zhao Huata's cool eyes widened instantly, and she murmured to herself, to harness the power of heaven, to turn sunlight to our own use. The mechanical arts of this modern era have reached such uncanny heights of seizing the secrets of nature. After purchasing the fans, Lin Zian drove to an outdoor workwear supply store on the city outskirts. The Great Qian is plagued by chaos and warfare. Though we travel there to conduct business, we must never forget that power comes from armed force. Lin Zian strode into the shop and slapped a stack of cash onto the counter for the owner. 50 high-voltage self-defense batons, the models with strobing flashlights and loud alarm sirens. 100 bottles of pepper spray. Also 100 manganese steel logging machetes, all fully sharpened. Watching crates of riot gear being loaded into the vehicle, Zhao Man grew anxious. Husband, purchasing so many weapons, are we truly going to fight a war? Not war, self-preservation. Lin Zian stroked her head gently. I will arm Lei Tong's security squad to become the first professional riot police force in the Great Qian. Anyone who tries to seize our grain will taste hundreds of thousands of volts of electricity. Lastly, Lin Zian detoured to a large agricultural wholesale market. In addition to stockpiling staple goods, 2 tons of northeast rice, 1 ton of wheat flour, 500 caddies of refined salt and white sugar. He specially ordered 100 sets of camouflage training uniforms and military work boots. Uniform attire and sharp morale were the first step to building a capable fighting force. The next day, Lin Zian packed all the supplies, then asked Man for the jade pendant. You 3 rest at home. I'm off to work. A flash of white light. Lin Zian reappeared in the abandoned Temple Tin Li outside the city of the Great Qian. Near the porridge stalls, thousands of displaced refugees dug foundation trenches in orderly lines under Lei Tong and the others' supervision. Though gaunt and emaciated, once fed Lin Zian's fine rice and wheat flour, endless strength seemed to fill their bodies. Master, you've returned at last. Lei Tong rushed forward the moment he spotted Lin Zian, the towering man's eyes red with emotion. The miraculous medicine you gave us works wonders. All my brothers' fevers broke overnight, and their wounds stopped festering. Master, from this day onward, the dozen veteran soldiers of our Black Flag Army owe you their lives. Your lives belong to yourselves. Use them to work hard for me. Lin Zian tossed a heavy woven sack at Lei Tong's feet. Open it and see. Confused, Lei Tong unzipped the bag. When he laid eyes on the camouflage training uniforms and the gleaming manganese steel machetes stacked beneath them, he gasped in shock. What fine blades! Even the finest 100 refined steel forged in the Great Qian cannot match this sharpness. Lei Tong drew one machete and tapped the blade lightly with his finger. A clear, resonant ring echoed out. Distribute the uniforms and have all your men change into them. Your security battalion is officially established starting today. Lin Zian pulled a high-voltage baton from his bag and handed it to Lei Tong. This device is called an electric baton. I'll teach you how to use it. From now on, spray troublemakers with pepper spray first, then strike with the baton. Anyone who draws a blade against you gets cut down with these machetes. As you command. Lei Tong trembled with excitement. Armed with these divine tools, he was confident he could keep the thousands of refugees firmly under control. Yet, Master, Lei Tong hesitated, his face clouded with worry. To build the grand square you spoke of, we must also lay drainage ditches and calculate earthwork volumes. We are rough men skilled at fighting, yet we know nothing of reading blueprints or arithmetic. Yesterday we dug a trench in the wrong spot and nearly flooded the porridge stalls. Lin Zian frowned. It was indeed a critical problem. The refugees of the Great Qian could not comprehend modern construction blueprints, and he could not stay here every single day under the blazing sun acting as foreman. The midday sun blazed overhead, burning his back and dripping sweat down his forehead. Set this matter aside for now. Lin Zian cupped a hand over his eyes to block the harsh sunlight, swiping sweat off irritably. Lei Tong, pick a few quick-handed workers in your spare time and build me an office. Lin Zian stroked his chin and issued orders. An office? Lei Tong scratched his matted hair, utterly confused. Master, what is an office? A shrine for gods, or a new type of military barracks? Lin Zian waved a hand to calm him and explained. It is not a barracks. Simply put, it is a room dedicated to handling affairs, studying blueprints, and receiving visitors. It must be spacious and bright, ideally with one large wide window. Inside, place a broad writing desk, several comfortable chairs, and a wall large enough to hang maps and construction plans. Here you will report updates, and I will hold assemblies and distribute wages to all of you. To make the rough soldier understand clearly, Lin Zian added another comparison. Think of it as the main command tent and accounting house for our construction site. Lei Tong's eyes lit up in realization, and he slapped his thigh. I get it now. Just like the magistrate's official document chamber, or the Grand General's war hall. Rest assured, Master, we are skilled at cutting timber and erecting buildings. We will make it grand and luminous. Good. But we still lack a scholarly clerk who can read blueprints. Lin Zian sighed, circling back to the original trouble. Master, if you seek a scholar skilled in mathematics and construction works, I know such a man. Lei Tong lowered his voice quickly. His name is Yan Zixio. Once a genius hydraulic engineer in the Ministry of Works in the capital, he was exiled to Qinghe County after offending powerful nobles. Yet he is eccentric and bitter toward the world, lingering on the brink of starvation in the city god temple now. A genius from the Ministry of Works? Lin Zian's eyes lit up. This was a stroke of perfect luck, a pillow delivered just as he grew sleepy. Any scholar of the great Qian who could be won over would be his most valuable laborer. Take me to meet this Yan Zixio. A capitalist's grin tugged at Lin Zian's lips, and he pulled 2 fragrant packs of Master Kong braised beef noodles from his bag. Lecturing a destitute scholar with empty words would accomplish nothing. First, overwhelm his stomach with modern industrial carbohydrates. The city god temple of Qinghe County was dilapidated, cobwebs draped thick across every beam and pillar. Starving to the point of dizziness, Yan Zixio slouched untidily beneath the deity's altar, clutching a tattered sheepskin scroll covered in hydraulic diagrams tight in his grasp. He had once been the youngest vice director of the Ministry of Works in the capital, yet now he could not even afford a bowl of gritty coarse porridge. Master Yan, my employer has come to see you. Lei Tong's booming voice echoed outside the temple gate. Yan Zixio strained to lift his eyelids, watching a young man clad in strange black fitted attire, a windbreaker, stride into the temple. He let out a cold scoff, a bitter sneer stretching his cracked lips. Another wealthy landowner seeking a grand ancestral tomb? Begone. I will not serve you. Lin Zian said nothing. He pulled a bucket of Master Kong braised beef noodles from his backpack and unscrewed his portable thermos, pouring scalding hot water inside. 3 minutes later, he lifted the lid. The overpowering aroma of artificial flavoring mixed with rich oil instantly shattered all the scholar's lofty pride and dignity as an intellectual of the great Qian. A loud gulp sounded as Yan Zixio's atoms apple bobbed wildly. His gaze locked rigidly on the noodle bucket like a starving wolf staring at fresh meat. Eat your fill, then we may discuss business. Lin Zian pushed the instant noodles and a plastic fork toward him. Yan Zixio's hands shook so badly he could barely grip the fork. He grabbed the boiling noodles straight with his bare hands and stuffed them into his mouth, tears streaming from the scalding heat, yet refusing to spit a single bite out. He even licked the bowl clean down to the last drop of soup. Once finished, he leaned back against a wooden pillar and let out a loud belch, staring at Lin Zian with complicated emotions. What construction do you intend to build? Lin Zian pulled out an iPad and pulled up a structural blueprint for a modern cement kiln, holding it out before Yan Zixio. I want to build this. Yan Zixio's apathetic gaze fell on the screen, and the next second he jolted upright as if struck by lightning, nearly dropping the tablet. He ran trembling fingers over the screen, eyes bulging from their sockets. What manner of diagram is displayed on this glass tablet? The kiln structure, the ingenious ventilation design, exquisite craftsmanship beyond measure. This is a cement kiln. The substance it produces is cement. When mixed with water, sand, and stone, it hardens to become 10 times sturdier than the blue bricks of the great Qian. Lin Zian clapped him on the shoulder, his capitalist smile returning. Master Yan, Magistrate Chen Square will be built eventually, but it is not my priority right now. Your primary task is to lead the refugees to produce cement for me. I have all the blueprints, and food will be unlimited. Will you take the job? I will. Master, my life belongs to you from this moment. Yan Zixio clung tightly to the tablet, unwilling to let go. And just like that, a learned intellectual of the great Qian had been won over by a bucket of instant noodles and a few engineering schematics. Having secured his construction expert, Lin Zian left Lei Tong and Yan Zixio to oversee the refugees. He retreated to a secluded corner, gripped the jade pendant, and whispered the incantation to return home. A flash of white light, and Lin Zian was back in the modern world. He did not head straight to his penthouse at Yunding Tianzhu. Instead, he detoured to a large supermarket. More and more refugees were gathering in the Great Qian, and long-term food supplies would soon become a critical issue. After surveying the climate and soil there, Lin Zian had determined the land was ideal for mass cultivation of cold and drought-resistant naked oats. But before transporting large quantities of seeds, he needed to test everyone's willingness to eat it. Naked oat noodles were coarse grain with a unique texture. He decided to buy finished products first to see if his 3 girls would take to them. If even food-loving Zhao Qiaoer could not stomach them, planting vast fields would be a waste of effort. He wandered the aisles, picking up several large bags of authentic hand-pulled naked oat noodles and fish-shaped oat dough, plus lamb meat sauce and seasonings to pair with the noodles. Only then did he carry his overflowing shopping bags home contentedly. The fingerprint lock emitted a soft beep as Lin Zian pushed open the door to his Yunding Tianzhu penthouse. Husband's home. Before he could set down the oat noodles he carried, a sweet fragrance washed over him. Zhao Qiaoer wore a white shirt barely long enough to cover her thighs, clinging to Lin Zian like a koala bear. The girl had just passed her first menstruation. Nourished by the modern world's high-sugar, high-protein foods these past days, her once scrawny figure had filled out visibly. Her soft breasts pressed firmly against his chest, stirring a surge of heat in him. Down you go. Lin Zian cupped her rounded hips and set her on her feet, glancing toward the kitchen. Zhao Man and Zhao Huar busied themselves there. Both wore the camisole nightgowns Lin Zian had bought. Man's was a gentle pink, Huar's a cool, icy blue. Steam curled through the kitchen air, pressing the thin silk fabric tight against their bodies, outlining their slender waists and perfect hip curves. Women of the Great Qian had never worn such revealing clothing, yet within this private space, they dressed only to please their husband. Husband, darling, go wash your face first. Dinner will be ready any minute. Zhao Manor glanced back with a soft smile, fine beads of sweat glistening across her forehead. The contrast between her gentle, virtuous aura and her overwhelming allure was utterly captivating. Zhao Qiaoer, who'd just been set down, scurried over, her eyes sparkling as she stared at the bulging bags in his hands. She asked in a sweet, childish tone, "Darling, what delicious treats did you bring back? No rush for dinner. I've got something special here. I'll show you all a trick." Lin Zian chuckled, setting the plastic bags on the table and untying them one by one. "This is naked oat noodles." Lin Zian pointed to the oddly shaped pasta inside the bag. "The Great Qin dynasty faces a severe grain shortage. If we only rely on rice and white flour I buy from the modern world, our supplies will run dry sooner or later. We can take our time building Qinwen Square, but we need to fix the food crisis right away. These noodles are made from naked oats, which thrive in cold, arid land and keep you full for ages. Perfect for the displaced laborers doing backbreaking work." With that, he held up one batch like presenting a treasure. "Look at these naked oat nest rolls. We roll the dough into thin cylinders and steam them packed tight together. Doesn't it look just like a big honeycomb?" Next, he brought out another variety, tapered at both ends and plump in the middle. "And these are naked oat fish noodles. See their shape. Don't they look like plump little fish swimming about?" Zhao Manor stared in wonder at the delicate pasta, unable to resist tapping one of the fish-shaped noodles lightly with her finger. She covered her mouth in amazement. Such clever craftsmanship. Who would have thought coarse grain could be shaped into something so tiny and lovely? "It's not hard to make. I just don't know if it'll suit your palates." Lin Zian smiled and rolled up his sleeves, ready to prepare savory toppings to go with the noodles. "This naked oat has a unique hearty grain aroma. I made fresh broth to pair with it today to see if you 3 can get used to the taste. If you like it, we'll distribute it widely among the refugees." Half an hour later, steaming bowls of naked oat fish noodles and nest rolls were set on the table. To complement the coarse grain, Lin Zian heated and simmered mutton and potato gravy until it bubbled richly. He also showed off his cooking skills by stir-frying a big bowl of tangy tomato and egg sauce. The 2 bright, glossy toppings filled the entire room with an inviting fragrance the moment they hit the table. "Wow!" Zhao Qiaoer grabbed her chopsticks first. She scooped a big spoonful of mutton gravy over her fish noodles, mixed them well, and slurped one whole noodle into her mouth. Her eyes lit up like tiny stars. "Darling, these fish noodles are so springy and chewy. The yellow potatoes stewed in mutton broth soaked up all the meat juice. They taste even better than the lamb, melting on my tongue." Without pausing, she picked up an oat nest roll, dipped it in the tomato egg sauce, and stuffed her cheeks full. This red fruit and egg sauce is amazing too, sweet and sour without being greasy at all." Zhao War and Zhao Manor watched Xiar eat until oil glistened on her lips, and they couldn't resist picking up their chopsticks as well. Zhao War took a fish noodle coated in tomato egg sauce and bit into it gently. The slightly grainy texture of the noodles, wrapped in thick tangy sauce, grew more flavorful with every chew. A satisfying warmth settled in her stomach as the hearty grain filled her up. This pasta is truly extraordinary. A flicker of surprise crossed Zhao War's cool eyes. Though not as soft and refined as white rice, it has a wonderful chew. After eating it, I feel strength flooding every inch of my body. Zhao Manor favored the tender, slow-cooked mutton and potato gravy. She nibbled slowly on the oat nest rolls, her gentle face brimming with delight as she turned to Lin Zian. Darling, if we could grow this miraculous crop across Qinga County, the people of Great Qian would never have to gnaw tree bark again. Is it really easy to cultivate? Not only easy, it withstands cold and drought effortlessly. Even the cracked, parched yellow soil in Great Qian can grow lush oat crops with just a little water. Lin Zian grabbed a tissue and wiped sauce off Chiao's chin, grinning. Best of all, it keeps hunger away. You all can finish 2 bowls of white rice in a meal, but 1 bowl of these naked oats will leave you too full to move. His words proved true. That night, Zhao Qiao'er, who usually had an endless appetite, ate a full bowl of oat noodles and didn't beg for fried chicken as a midnight snack for once. Instead, she sprawled across the guest room bed fast asleep, soft little snores escaping her lips. The naked oats really were incredibly filling. The next morning dawned bright and sunny. Lin Zian rose early and roused the 3 girls from bed. Darling, aren't we going to hand out porridge in Great Qian today? Zhao Manor rubbed her sleepy eyes. The pink camisole nightgown slipped off one shoulder, revealing a glimpse of soft skin. Lei Tong and Yin Zixio are watching the porridge stalls. Nothing will go wrong there. Today I'm taking you 3 to do something important. Lin Zian wore a mysterious smile. We're buying naked oat seeds, and along the way, I'll bring you back to my hometown to meet my mother. And meet my mother-in-law. At those words, the 3 sisters, who'd still been half asleep, jolted wide awake. Zhao War gripped the bedsheets tightly, overcome with nerves. In Great Qian, a daughter-in-law meeting her husband's mother was a momentous occasion. One misstep could brand you unfilial, and even lead to being sent back to your family in disgrace. Darling, what should we wear? Do we need to prepare gifts? I didn't have time to finish any embroidery. Zhao Mantis' eyes welled up with anxiety as she frantically rummaged through the wardrobe. Calm down. Calm down. We don't follow those old customs in the modern world. Lin Zian held her back, half amused and half sympathetic. I'll take you shopping at the mall for gifts later. As for clothes, just dress modestly and gracefully. No short skirts or shorts today. My mother is quite traditional. An hour later, they arrived at a large shopping mall in Jiangnan City. Lin Zian picked each sister a plain long floral dress paired with a thin white cardigan. 3 identical, naturally flawless faces paired with their soft, modest outfits drew every eye in the mall. They might as well have been walking spotlights, turning every passerby's head. Lin Zian then headed to a gold store to buy a substantial vintage gold bangle and picked up 2 boxes of premium bird's nest supplements from a health shop. His mother had pestered him for years to come home for blind dates, rambling every phone call about how Aunt Wang's grandson was already old enough to run errands on his own. Now he was coming home, not alone, but with 3 identical, breathtakingly beautiful wives. He wondered if his mother's heart could take the shock. Once they finished shopping, Lin Zian stowed all the bags in the trunk of his rented SUV and called the girls over to get in. Darling, does this 4-wheeled iron box really run without horses pulling it? Zhao Qiao'er sat in the spacious back seat, curiously running her hands over the leather upholstery. It's called a car. It runs on gasoline and far outpaces horses. Sit tight and fasten your seatbelts. The engine roared to life, and the SUV pulled out of the city, speeding toward Banla Mountain Village, Lin Zian's hometown. The 3-hour drive felt like magical instant travel to the women born in ancient Great Qian. When the car rolled into a village ringed by green hills, Lin Zian slowed down and pointed at a red brick 2-story house. There, that's where I grew up. Zhao Qiao'er, riding in the passenger seat, poked her head out the window, then tilted her head and asked with innocent confusion, Huh? Darling, shouldn't your childhood home be Zhao Village in Great Qian? All the villagers said you were dragged off as forced conscript. Lin Zian's hand jerked on the steering wheel, nearly sending the car careening into a roadside drainage ditch. How was he supposed to explain this? Tell them their original husband, the unlucky man they'd married, had died long ago on the northern border, and he was a modern man who'd stepped into his place. It would be cruel, and explaining the whole truth would be endlessly complicated. Ahem. Well, your husband is actually an immortal sent down to endure mortal trials. The Zhao village in Great Qian only held a fragment of my soul. This place is my true home. Lin Zian fabricated the tale without a flicker of guilt. I see. That explains why you're so extraordinary. Zhao Qiao's eyes lit up with unbridled admiration, utterly convinced. Zhao Wer narrowed her eyes slightly in the back seat, her cool gaze sweeping over the back of Lin Zian's head. A faint, knowing smile tugged at her lips, yet she said nothing to expose his lie. As long as this man protected and cherished them, she cared not if he was a fragment of a soul or an immortal. As soon as the car entered the village entrance, they spotted a group of elderly men and women fanning themselves beneath a large tree to escape the heat. Well, if it isn't old Lin's boy Zian. Zian's back. A sharp-eyed aunt stood up, her loud voice echoing across half the village. Lin Zian rolled down the window and greeted her with a grin. Aunt Wang, enjoying the cool air? I came back to see my mother. Goodness, what an impressive car. You've really made something of yourself. Aunt Wang beamed from ear to ear, stepping forward to chat more, until her gaze drifted past Lin Zian and landed on Zhao Qiao in the passenger seat. Then she spotted Zhao Manor and Zhao were in the back row. Aunt Wang's smile froze mid-face. Her palm leaf fan clattered to the ground, and her eyes bulged like brass bells, as though she'd seen a ghost. Good heavens, this boy from the Lin family. Where did he buy 3 identical heavenly maidens all at once? Lin Zian dared not linger. He pressed down hard on the gas and pulled up in front of his family's 2-story house with a large courtyard. Mom, I'm home. Lin Zian hauled all the shopping bags and called out loudly. You rascal, you finally remember your home. Aunt Wang even set me up with a girl yesterday. A stream of nagging words floated out as a middle-aged woman in an apron, over 50 years old, stepped out of the kitchen clutching a spatula. Before Mother Lin could finish speaking, she saw the 3 identical, stunning young women in floral dresses standing behind Lin Zian. In perfect unison, they bowed deeply, hands folded at their waists, performing the formal wife's salute from Great Qian. Daughter-in-law manner where /Qiao greets mother-in-law. 3 clear, melodious voices chimed out at once, like orioles singing. Clang. The spatula slipped straight from Mother Lin's grasp and clanged onto the cement floor. Mother Lin stared wide-eyed at the 3 identical, ethereally beautiful girls in front of her, half convinced she'd hallucinated from staying up late playing mahjong the night before. Meanwhile, Zhao Manor, Zhao War, and Zhao Qiao, still holding their ancient bow, lifted their heads to look at Mother Lin, and all 3 stiffened rigidly. Mother-in-law. The warmth drained from Zhao Manor's gentle face, her eyes instantly reddening. Zhao Qiao rubbed her eyes hard, hot tears spilling down her cheeks as she whimpered like a wronged little creature. Mother-in-law, you're alive. Zhao Wer kept her composure on the surface, yet glistening tears shimmered in her cold eyes, and her slender frame trembled faintly. Their mother-in-law from Great Qian had lived in abject poverty, yet on her deathbed, she'd given the last bowl of coarse grain soup to the 3 sisters. The woman standing before them in an apron, save for her healthier complexion and strange modern clothes, shared the exact same facial features and bone structure as their ancient mother-in-law, like they'd been cast from the same mold. Good gracious, why are you all crying? Mother Lin flustered, wiping her hands on her apron frantically. She grabbed Lin Zian, who was sweating bullets, by the ear and dragged him roughly into the kitchen, hissing sharply in a low voice. You rotten boy, tell me the truth. What rental companion app did you get these girls from? 3 of them, all identical. How much did this cost? Did you take predatory online loans with your measly salary? Ow ow. Mom, ease up. Lin Zian hurried to shield his ear. They're not rented. I swear it. They're my girlfriends. Nonsense. Mother Lin smacked the back of his head hard. We live in a society ruled by law. This counts as bigamy, do you understand? 3 girlfriends at once. Do you think you're some ancient emperor? Lin Zian took a deep breath, knowing he needed a grand lie to calm his mother down. His expression fell, putting on a sorrowful, heartfelt performance as he spoke in a heavy tone. Mom, they've suffered terribly. Suffered? Mother Lin blinked in surprise. They're triplets from a remote mountain region. A 3-year drought struck their land. Even tree bark ran out to eat. Lin Zian weaved a half-truth story. Their parents passed away long ago, leaving them destitute. Their cruel second uncle planned to sell them to human traffickers for a sack of brown rice, sending them to terrible, unspeakable places. What? Mother Lin's heart twisted sharply. Lin Zian's retelling of Great Qian's cruel world, framed as hardship in a modern remote mountain village, pulled straight at her heartstrings. I was there sketching landscapes and couldn't bear to watch. I spent every penny I had to rescue them. Lin Zian sighed, gazing tenderly through the kitchen door at the 3 uneasy girls standing outside. They don't even have official household registration papers. They're undocumented with no family to rely on, so they have nowhere to go but stay with me. They called you mother-in-law because you looked just like their late birth mother. They're homesick. Tears welled up in Mother Lin's eyes the moment she finished listening. The older generation could never bear tales of such agonizing suffering, especially concerning three such delicate, obedient young women. What a tragedy, those damned human traffickers. Mother Lin's maternal instincts surged full force. She shoved Lin Zian aside roughly. Get out of my way, you useless boy. Mother Lin strode out of the kitchen to the three girls still silently weeping, her heart aching for them. She pulled all three into a warm embrace, her voice trembling. My poor sweet girls, don't cry anymore. This is your home from now on, and I'm your mother. If this rascal dares mistreat you, I'll break his legs. Wrapped in that long-forgotten, warm maternal hug, the three sisters completely crumbled, sobbing into Mother Lin's shoulders. Mom. Zhao Manor recovered first, calling out timidly using the name Lin Zian had taught her in the car. Yes, dear. Mother Lin's heart melted completely at the sound. Zhao War and Zhao Qiao followed, murmuring soft, Mom, that made Mother Lin beam with joy. She took their hands and led them into the house, bombarding them with gentle questions, forgetting her own son entirely. Lin Zian watched the scene and let out a long, relieved breath. His mother was won over. His home base was secure. He hauled all the shopping bags from the trunk into the house. When Mother Lin saw the heavy vintage gold bangle and premium bird's nest supplements, she chided him worriedly. Silly boy, you spent all your savings saving those girls, yet you splurge on these expensive gifts. How will you afford daily life afterward? Don't worry, Mom. I've started a business and earn good money now. Lin Zian smiled, slipping the gold bangle onto her wrist. By the way, besides visiting you, I came home to do something important in our village. Something important? You're a computer designer. What business could you possibly run back in the village? Mother Lin asked, washing fruit for the girls in the meantime. Lin Zian pulled out a chair and sat down, his expression turning earnest. I want to buy as many naked oat seeds as I can from our villagers. Buy naked oat seeds? Mother Lin laughed at once. I thought you were after something rare. Every household here has plenty of those. What do you need them for? I have a major business client who breeds drought-resistant crops. He admires how hardy and cold-tolerant our local naked oats are, and asked me to source a large batch for him. Lin Zian had prepared this explanation long beforehand. Hearing it was for business, Mother Lin asked no further questions and slapped her thigh resolutely. If it helps you earn money, leave this to me. We've got tons of oat seeds in the village. Tomorrow morning I'll go door to door asking, and I'll gather all you need. Seeing his mother's eager agreement, paired with the three daughters-in-law gazing at him with full admiration, Lin Zian broke into a wide grin. Thank you, Mom. That night, a new trouble arose. His hometown was a single-story house, only lived in by Mother Lin year-round, so just 2 bedrooms were kept tidy for sleeping. One belonged to Mother Lin, the other to Lin Zian. Manor, you 3 girls sleep in Zian's room tonight. The bed's a full 2 meters wide, and you're all slim, you'll fit snugly together. Mother Lin arranged the bedding as she spoke. Then, where will darling sleep? Zhao Qiao bit her fingertip, her big eyes blinking curiously. Him. Mother Lin shot Lin Zian a sharp glare. He'll take the sofa in the living room. You 3 are unmarried young ladies. Even if you're his girlfriends in name, he's not allowed to lay a finger on you before you get your marriage license and hold a wedding banquet. The 3 sisters' faces flushed bright red at her words. They'd already belonged to Lin Zian in every way. They'd even shared the most intimate embraces together. Lin Zian stared miserably at the narrow old sofa, then glanced back at the 3 graceful women in their floral dresses, wailing inwardly at his fate. Deep into the quiet night, Lin Zian tossed and turned restlessly on the sofa. Just then, soft footsteps echoed through the room. In the pale moonlight, he spotted Zhao Manor descending the stairs quietly, clad only in a thin nightgown with bare pale feet. Darling. Zhao Manor's voice was barely audible, laced with shyness and tender concern. The sofa's hard. Let me keep you warm. Lin Zian's eyes lit up, and he pulled Zhao Manor straight into his arms.